Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of July 11th, 2022 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilwoman Feeney. Here. Councilman Sears.
Here.
Councilwoman Velez.
Here.
Council President Morgan.
Here. Let the record reflect also in attendance Mayor Calamari, Mayor Calamari, Township Attorney Poller, and Township Clerk Wachowski. Northwest Bergen Regional Health Commission is the township's local public health services health officer. Please visit their website at www.nwbrhc.org for all COVID-19 related updates, as well as information and contacts for other health-related issues. You can also sign up for their newsletter, which will keep you updated on various health-related topics. The Bergen County Satellite Office and Passport Outreach Service was at Town Hall on June 22nd and 23rd. June 22nd. 23 transactions were conducted. Those included 2 notary oaths, 11 passport renewals, and 11 first-time passport applications. The New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission Unit came to the township on May 23rd. 14 transactions were conducted. Those included 5 real IDs, 5 driver license, and 4 registrations. Quarter 3 estimated tax bills were mailed on June 24th. Due date is August 1st, grace period until August 10th. Marriage license applications, the $28 fee is now being waived for marriage license applications effective July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Container mosquitoes are the #1 mosquito problem in Bergen County. Once a week, please empty, cover, or throw away items that hold water. For more information on mosquitoes and mosquito control, contact the Bergen County Mosquito Control Program at 201-634-2880. Our next meeting for the Township Council will be held on Monday, August 15th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Mayor, you have appointments?
Yeah, while I walk down, I believe the chief wants to say a few words before I do the swearing in. So, Rich, please.
Is that on? It's on.
Sorry about that, a little technical difficulty. So before we start the council meeting tonight, this has been a long time coming. We're going to swear in Liz Bobadilla as our newest police officer. So technically, Liz has already been sworn in. She was sworn in before she went to the police academy, but it's kind of a small ceremony. Sue did it for us right in town hall. But what we really wanted to do tonight was hold the ceremonial swearing in and really introduce Liz to everybody in the audience, of course, who already knows her, but anybody that's watching on TV. And we wanted to just introduce her to the town. So I did want to just talk to you a little bit about Liz's background. So Liz, believe it or not, completed her dispatching courses, her telecommunicator courses, while she was still in high school. She came right out of high school and went to work for the Dumont Police Department as a dispatcher in August of 2010. In 2012, she started at Bergen Community College and continued her education. In March of 2013, we were lucky enough to get Liz to come to work for us. We had Liz until February of 2019, and in February 2019, Liz left and went to the Clifton Police Department. Unfortunately, she was injured in the police academy and couldn't complete the course. But I think the word of the night is perseverance, because good things come to those who wait. So Liz came back to us, and we were so happy to have her back. in 2021. She dispatched for us. We talked about how we could further Liz's career here. She took some time to heal. She took some time to get herself in even better physical condition. And, she went through the police academy. Liz also is trained as a matron. So before she was a police officer, she was coming out and conducting prisoner searches for us. And Liz also is certified as a translator. So she's translated for us in criminal cases in court with suspects. So Liz has really been doing police work the whole time she was a dispatcher, but we're so happy to have her here now. And it's just my great honor to introduce you to her, and we're going to have the mayor swear her in. So Liz Bobadilla, police officer, come on up.
Just a few quick words on my behalf. I'm always happy to do these swearing-ins. Something special for me to swear in new officers. I've sworn in now a lot of our own members. It's great to see everyone current and past come out for every one of these. Shows a great brotherhood among you, and I know you support each other, so it's really great that you all come out. It's much appreciated. So, Liz, you have someone who wants to hold the Bible? Yes. Left hand on the Bible, right hand in the air. I want to face out to the audience if possible. And I'll hold this up and you'll repeat after me. I,
Alyssa Bobadilla,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I do solemnly swear
and that I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of,
all the duties of
give me that next one,
Police Officer, Township of Washington, Police Department,
in the Township of Washington,
in the Township of Washington,
in the County of Bergen,
in the County of Bergen,
in the State of New Jersey,
in the State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
So before we move on, I do have one more presentation tonight, but if you look, there's a great showing of police officers, some local officers that Liz went to the academy with, some of our other local officers. We have some female officers representing. Right now in the United States, the average is 7% female in law enforcement. We're looking to raise that because just there's great assets out there, and female officers bring something to the table that sometimes their male counterparts don't. I see that we have Tony Plantamura in the audience. Tony was early on in Paramus, maybe kind of started that trend locally. But if you look around, there's one thing we're missing aside from a female. Liz is going to give us a little diversity and throw a little splash of color into the Washington Township Police Department also. So, we're looking to diversify things. And if you know Liz, she's not quiet. She's going to say what's on her mind. So it's actually pretty refreshing to have her here. So we're very proud. I did mention, right, that Liz had broken her foot when she attended the Passaic County Police Academy for Clifton. There were some people that doubted if Liz was fully healed and if she would make it, but I never doubted Liz once. I knew that she was going to get there. But there is somebody in the audience that I want to recognize that put a lot of special time and effort and helped Liz through. I know a lot of her academy classmates that ran with her helped her, but Liz actually did re-injure the foot. It was a different kind of injury. She didn't have a full break, but she had a stress fracture. And apparently, according to Doc Mike Goltz, who I'd like to bring up in a minute, you can run on that foot, but it's quite painful. So Liz ran every day in the academy, and she was in pain. Every day after the academy, She went to Doc Goltz for treatment. He did a combination of physical therapy, ice, stimulation, all that. And when we got into the weeds on this, I was like, all right, Liz, just tell me how we're paying for this. Is this workers' comp? And she's like, no. Mike runs the physical fitness program at the academy, and he's not charging me anything for this. So we just really want to thank Mike from the bottom of our hearts. Coincidentally, Mike Goltz is Mike Goltz Jr. His dad, Mike Goltz Sr., was the PT instructor at the Bergen County Police Academy for 30 years. John and I and Roy Shera were his third class. So after 30 years of Mike doing it, Mike Jr. took over. And as Mike told me on the phone the other day, the only issue is Mike Sr. has more hair than both of us. He's probably in better physical shape than both of us. And frankly, Mike, he's probably better looking than both of us too, right? But I just really wanted to thank Mike for all the help that he gave to Liz. Mike's office, as well as his dad, they treat a lot of police officers, and they really have been just a wonder to law enforcement in Bergen County. They're woven into what we do. So I wanted to present this to him. I'm going to have Liz give it to him. So presented to Dr. Mike Goltz Jr. for your dedication and service to law enforcement, to the Township of Washington Police Department, and the Bergen County Police Academy class number 128. Mike? Thank you everybody for being here tonight. Thanks to Liz's family. It's always great to see them. We've known Liz's family for almost as long as we've known Liz. They usually come to coffee with a cop or whatever events we're doing. I do want to thank the mayor and the council for allowing us to be here tonight, and thank the mayor and our former administrator for having the confidence to let myself and my command staff make hiring decisions. So thank you. I will turn it back over.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, you guys are more than welcome to stay. We will we'll take a 5-minute break to let you take pictures and do what you have to do, and then we'll continue. All righty. We won't be insulted if some of you leave.
to employ men.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move to the report of the mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out to the meeting. Police Department. The chief and other officers attended the Public Safety and Security Expo in Atlantic City. The department also hosted the annual Chief for a Day event within the township, and afterwards they joined their counterparts for the countywide event in Hackensack. The week-long Junior Police Academy was held with 54 students. New portable handheld radios have been issued to the officers as part of the new Emergency Services Radio System project. Active shooter training was conducted in conjunction with quarterly rifle qualification and training. A new telephone system has been installed for the department, and the renovation of the dispatch center is completed. Recreation. The summer rec program is well underway. The program has shattered its previous record with 480 participants this year. The registration for the Intro to Cheer program for grades K through first ended on July 1st. 42 children are registered this year, 16 more than last year. I'm so happy that the participants in our rec programs continue to grow. The department is also starting an art program for first through sixth graders. It will commence in the fall. Please check the town webpage for further information. I'm also sure that Councilwoman Morgan will talk about the cheer program in her report. Fire Department. Chief Guger has returned to the position of chief. The department commends the job done by Deputy Chief Myros and all the officers during his absence. During the month of June, they responded to a fire at the Memorial Field restroom and a grill fire close to a residence. Both fires were extinguished prior to their arrival. They were checked for extension, and minimal damage occurred at each location. They also responded to Paramus for coverage during a structure fire in their town. The new tower ladder 41 is at Fire and Safety in New Jersey. The chief and some of the committee members went to inspect the truck, as well as deciding where tools and other equipment will be mounted on the truck. They expect to take delivery of the vehicle later this month and put it into service in August. Old Tower 41 is now officially retired after serving the department and the community for 35 years. Lastly, the department continues to pack their belongings for their move to the new house, currently scheduled for August. DPW. The weekly garden debris collection is well underway, as is the maintenance of all the parks and fields. As a reminder, the debris pickup is the first full week of the month. Therefore, due to the Independence Day holiday last week, it is taking place this week. The next collection of metal goods will be on July 21st. The department is now maintaining the newly acquired swim club property. The pool was drained of water and debris was cleared from it. A pump has been placed in the pool to keep water from accumulating. The catch basins in Zone 1 were inspected and repaired where necessary. Trees over many roadways have been trimmed. 1,500 pounds of blacktop have been used in filling potholes. A post and rail fence was installed at the entrance to Lincoln Park at Jacqueline Road. Sewer line jetting took place where needed. The department also participated in the library's annual Touch a Truck event. Library. The library's summer programs are in full swing. Please check their website and be on the lookout in your mailbox for their summer newsletter. New museum memberships for the summer are Jenkinson's Aquarium, the Morris Museum, the American Museum of Natural History, Field Station Dinosaurs, Storm King Art Center, and the Intrepid. Tickets are limited to residents only, and a valid library card is required. Municipal Alliance. The program is going strong with both junior police and the First Safety Township class. Check out the Municipal Alliance Facebook page for info and updates as they occur. New DPW building. I met with the architect and he was drawing up a plan to place the facility at its old location. Intersection. Pre-construction meetings have taken place with the contractor and other agencies involved with the project, and shovels in the ground should take place very soon. I've checked with both our grant writer and Boswell Engineering, independent of each other, both who have dealt with open space grants many times, and they have confirmed that no building can take place on property where open space grant money has been accepted. The only exceptions are restrooms and perhaps a snack stand. Along with the grant writer, I appeared before the Open Space Grant Committee to give a presentation of the property and how we want to see it continue to be open space for fields and other usages. We came away very optimistic that we will receive funding for the property. I hope the council this evening approves the bids for the 2022 road program, the 2022 New Jersey Department of Transportation Municipal Aid Road Program for Lafayette Avenue, and the ADA improvements at Cherry Field, so we can get those projects underway. Exit 168 and Washington Ave signal. I, along with members of the Police Department, Boswell Engineering, and members of the Turnpike Authority, met with members of the engineering firm working with the Turnpike Authority on the signal project. The meeting was productive. We will receive preliminary plans from them in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of council. Councilman Casio.
The mayor pretty much covered everything. I just hope everyone's having a nice, safe summer. The summer is going to go quick. And I just ask our residents and surrounding towns to please go slow through the Township of Washington. There has been excessive speeding on numerous roads, and I just don't want anything to become tragic in our town. And I'm specifically talking about Ridgewood Road, Pascack Road, Mountain Avenue, and Washington Avenue. I know they're posted at 35 miles an hour or less, but I think a lot of people are exceeding that speed limit. And I know people are exceeding the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit on residential roads. So please slow down, if you would. And other than that, have a safe summer.
You can add Colonial to that.
Oh, yes, Colonial, yes, I'm sorry.
And Ed Beach too.
Almost every road,
Yeah.
almost every road. So
Especially
please.
those that connect the towns, like.
Through streets,
Mhm.
definitely.
Okay. Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes, good evening. Want to say, hope everyone's having a good summer. I know that the rec department's in full swing with the summer camp. I hear wonderful things from lots of the girls on my daughter's softball team. They're having a great time at camp. I want to talk a little bit about the fields. It's time for us to make some decisions about the fields. We're having serious drainage issues on Sherry. We need to address that. I know the administration is working on a plan for Sherry and Memorial. So looking forward to those updates in the coming future. The fields are our first resource for our children. We have lots of kids in town, baseball, softball, lacrosse, football. We can move on to some other programs too, but in visiting some other towns, I know we can definitely make improvements to our existing recreation infrastructure. I think that's really important to welcoming new families into town since we have a much greater younger demographic moving into town, which is phenomenal. There was an article recently on NJ.com about vacation payout in the state of New Jersey. I know that we've been fortunate enough in town to not have had a large payout in more than 20 years. I'm confirming that with the police department now. In addition, I want to welcome our new female officer. I think that's a great addition to our town and to the young women and girls of our town. It's a great role model. So welcome and looking forward to seeing you around town. Was wondering if we could also get an update. Do you know when the grants we're supposed to hear? Do they give a time frame? Like we're supposed to get 4 months or 2 months?
On the open space for September, October.
That was my final question. Looking forward to hearing about that and looking forward to a great summer in town. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Sears.
Thank you, Council President. Been working with the Bergen County Veteran Services, and they have posted 2 jobs. The first position is a Veteran Service Officer, salary range 52K to 70K. It's based off experience. If you want to apply, please give me a call, and I will transfer your name to Sean Hutchinson. The second job they're offering is a position with the Veteran Service. It's a Veteran Service worker. It starts at 45K. So they're looking for assistance down in Hackensack. 2 positions are open. if anybody's interested. I'd like to have a veteran. We should be hiring veterans on all our jobs in the township going forward. These two are really good positions, and Sean really needs the help for veterans. The second item is Lincoln Park. The scout, Nick, is just about completed with his nature trail. We have one more setup to go, and hopefully the nature trail will be open sometime in August, and we'll post that. It's his Eagle Scout project. He's doing a great job up there. The park is really outstandingly clean. I did note that we still have the person with the ATV running through the park, tearing it up. I guess they can't read signs, but I can tell you it's coming off of Jacqueline Road. Please, and I know Dr. Cassio has mentioned this several times, wear a bike helmet. I almost witnessed a child being hit by a car on Beach and Cross Street. Child did not have a helmet. He did roll on the ground. Please wear a helmet. At the Veterans Monument by the library, we are installing 2 more flag poles there. One will be for the flag for the Space Force. The other flag will be for VFW Post 6192. I'm also also would like to hear from the mayor on the 2 vandalisms. The arson fire down at the football field. Where are we with that investigation? And the second one is the damage to the library. I'd like to hear where we are, any charges, any procedures that need to be done. We need to nip this in the bud, and we need to do it now. Thank you.
Mr. Sears, I just have a follow-up question regarding the 2 jobs. If somebody is interested, they should email you?
They can email me and I'll send them the information.
Okay.
Or you could reach out to Sean Hutchinson, and let me give you his work number. It's Sean, S-H-A-U-N, Hutchinson, H-U-T-C-H-I-N-S-O-N. He's with the Bergen County Veteran Services. Phone number 201-336-6326. And he is needing that help because an increase of veterans are seeking needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Velez?
Thank you. So a couple of fun things happening this summer. This Friday, July 15th, we will be hosting our first free movie at Memorial. The movie playing will be Sing 2, hosted by Township Theater. The gates will open at 8 p.m. and the movie will begin at sunset. On August 19th, we will also be having another movie. It will be Luca. Same idea, gates open at 8 and the movie begins at sunset. So bring your kids, blankets, and come for a good time. These are very cute movies. I know they're pretty popular amongst the children. Also, save the date. This is our first announcement, official announcement. Save the date for Thursday, August 25th. We will be having a summer concert. Playing will be the Ronald Reagans. They are a big 80s band. Details to follow. I believe this show will start 7:30, so just be on the lookout. We will also have a food vendor on the spot. Details to come for that. So please save the date, Thursday, August 25th at Memorial Field. Also, another save the date for, I know it sounds like it's far away, but it really isn't. Town Day will be taking place again at Memorial Field on October 1st. That is Saturday, October 1st. So it sounds like it's far away, but it's 3 months, just a little over 3 months away. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about the events at the library. They do such a nice job. The ladies there do such a nice job with so many events. I know the mayor touched upon the DPW Touch a Truck. I was able to attend with my daughter, my little one, and it was such a nice experience. It was really nice. The men on the team, they're such a pleasure, and they always have such a great smile. So I'm really grateful for their attitude and their the energy they bring to the events. So thank you to the DPW. The trucks were nice and clean, and it was really a nice experience. I was even surprised by some of the trucks and how they worked. And then last but not least, Public Affairs is always welcoming resident input. If there are events that you'd like to see take place in the township, I always welcome new ideas. And I want to thank our volunteers who really work tirelessly. The concert taking place is because one of our volunteers did not give up and did some hefty research. So I want to thank that volunteer for really showing up and working to get our township a concert this year. And if there are any other events you'd like to see, again, please you can email at Township of Public Affairs at twpofwashington.us. And as always, we do need volunteers to make these events possible, right? The more events that we bring to the township, the more volunteers we need to make them come to fruition. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to follow up from the summer concert and town day, those are free admission?
Correct.
Okay, awesome.
They're free admission for the concert, absolutely. For town day, we do the wristbands. They're $5 and you jump.
So
Okay.
admission is free?
Admission is
just
free.
if you want to do like
If
their
for the
rides or
kids
something?
want to do
Okay,
the bounce,
that's great. Okay.
it's the best deal in town.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, my update is more of a follow-up. There were some resident concerns that I just wanted to follow up on. A resident had some concerns regarding the walkway at Finnerty Place and creating a safer environment for pedestrians and drivers. This is currently with the chief and I believe the mayor. And they'll be working with the traffic safety officer and get back to me later this week so that I can follow up with the resident, and I'll have it for next month's meeting. What else? Another resident concern, there was a safety issue regarding the Oxford and Pascack Road intersection there with people walking across the street and taking a cut through at Devon. Currently, that's being run by our engineer as we speak and our safety officer to explore the need for a streetlight there, and I will continue to follow that up. I do know that I think the county would have to get involved, so, but I will follow that up as well and report that at next month's meeting. I spoke with the zoning board regarding going back in person. And I also spoke with the planning board. So the zoning board has informed me that they actually have been discussing it. And they said the truth is things have been going very well for them. The members on the zoning board have stated that they are all comfortable with the current format. They've received a bunch of positive feedback from applicants on the process, both township residents and developers. They said there was a lawyer that told them how easy the Zoom was, I believe, for their applicant. They are getting a lot more people attending the meeting remotely than they did in person. Most people will Zoom in with a very few calling in. They give everyone ample time to express their concerns and opinions. They've discussed it multiple times, and the consensus from the members is that things are going well. They were surprised that I was reaching out and stated they haven't had one resident, and the member confirmed this with their secretary, either call or say that they wish they were back in person. They have not received any emails from any residents stating this either. The one thing that residents have addressed, and it does keep coming up, is whether or not they should stream it or make the meetings available after the fact, and they're currently looking into that. That was for zoning.
So I do have a response from Chairman Murphy on planning.
Hang on a second. Hold on. For planning, they said that it is actually on their agenda for Wednesday to be discussed. They are anticipating returning with the first meeting in August, which is the 3rd. Many, if not all of the board members are ready to return. This topic was on the agenda last week, but unfortunately they had to cancel that meeting. So it does look like that's on the topic. And Council Vice President, did you have anything to share?
No, it's on the agenda. It's just the meeting, this past meeting, because we didn't have a quorum, had to get canceled.
Okay. And then, yes, Mayor, you stole my thunder a little, but that's okay about cheer.
Sorry about
I can
that.
always find something to talk about. So yes, like the mayor mentioned, last year we had 27 kindergarten and first graders. This year is the second year doing this. We've had 42 girls sign up. And I'm really happy that we've had so many young adolescent coaches. They are really giving of their time voluntarily. We had 7 last year. This year we have 11 coaches and a bunch of adult volunteers, all of them who will be vetted through the background checks. So that's excellent. And I believe, let me see. And I also wanted to thank, I wanted to thank Nikki Prunella. She is the program coordinator who volunteers all of her time for this to be a success. So I really thank her for that. And that is all I have. Okay. We're going to move to general public comment. Actually, you know what? Someone said they can't hear. Okay, so WCTV said they're not hearing anything from you, Council Vice President.
It's on.
And then another person said they couldn't hear anything that you said.
It's on. I don't know.
I'm going to ask if they can hear now. Can you say something? Just say
Hi.
testing, 1, 2.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
We couldn't hear you.
A second ago? Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, he says.
It's green.
WCTV says it's working. You just need to be closer to
Oh,
that
okay.
mic. Or maybe pull it
Might
closer.
put this on.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, so general public comment.
It's on. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you'll be fine.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Well, let me read the
Oh.
rules first. To participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, please click on the link below to join the webinar. If by phone, *9 to raise hands, *6 to unmute. Each person wishing to address the council shall give his or her name and home address for the record. And we ask that only one person speak at a time with a 5-minute limit. We're continuing to suspend the way we conducted it previously, and we're going to move forward with open dialogue. All members of the public and council are expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted, and the council president will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments. Steve, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Is there anyone that would like to come up?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Patrick Fay, 107 Fountain Street. I just actually wanted to come in tonight and thank Councilwoman President Morgan.
Excuse me, could you just speak into the microphone, maybe tilt
sorry.
it up to more? Yeah.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's a little bit better. Thank you.
All right, sorry. Councilman Sears and Mr. Calamari. My brother-in-law got in touch with me and told me that you guys reached out to him about the flooding and stuff like that. And I really appreciate that. I also appreciate that you guys said a couple of good things about me. But anyway, I got some ribbing on that one. But I did have a few questions. And I know the one problem is actually Westwood's problem. That tree that has fallen. I'm not sure how they are going to go about clearing that tree. It's still alive, so it's actually, has leaves on it, so it's probably making it worse. And the other one was, let me just make sure I ask everything. If you guys applied for any grants to help desilting and what's the other? Excuse me.
Do you want me to keep time?
Oh, desnagging, I think it's what it's called.
De-snagging, okay.
And I was also wondering if my brother-in-law went over, or whoever he had you speak with, went over some of that stuff with you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say thank you and I appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get here earlier, but thanks again.
No
All right,
worries.
I appreciate it.
You can actually say we changed the way that we conduct public.
No.
It's going to take a while to get used to, but we can have dialogue. So maybe there's a follow-up question. Yes, your brother-in-law did talk about desnagging and desilting. Yes,
Right.
he did. I'm not sure about the tree in the brook. I did speak with your wife.
Okay.
And asked her to keep me posted when it has been removed or cut, if there's been any activity on there. Mayor, do you know if anything? I think I emailed you with.
You did, yes. And I followed up with the Westwood mayor. Like many people, his DPW director was on vacation last week. He said he would follow up with him today upon his return to see what the status was of the tree. Regarding grants, our grant writer and the engineers both know to keep a sharp eye out to see if there's anything to do with the whole brook, not just in your area. And, they haven't let me know of anything yet.
So is that going to be with, I know they had, what town was it? They had flooding in by Kings?
Hillsdale.
Hillsdale, yes, I'm sorry. Are you guys working with them with any of that stuff or?
The Mayor's Association, we're all working together to help each other. We're all keeping an eye out for grant money because, what helps one town helps us all.
Correct.
So, it's not like we're competing or anything like that. We're doing it as a team. So if me, our grant writer, our engineer hears of anything, we're spreading it to all the fellow towns to, get as much grant money as we can for the area as possible.
So as far as that one tree, that's just something I can see. Should I go speak with the mayor, or is that just something you guys are gonna?
Let me find out what he found out from his DPW guy today. I believe I have your email address, so give me a day or two to email you, and then I'll let you know if I think it would help you to reach out.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, follow up to that,
Sure.
we're having some issues upstream, like where they're doing some construction coming through townships, so maybe you could set some time up with the engineer. I think it's causing some downstream issues
So just to
also.
talk up again.
I swear, I'm right here and it's on.
Still can't hear you.
It's,
We got to get you an extension.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I know that someone from the association had called you, but I think it's stemming from things coming from Hillsdale. So
Okay.
I'd like to bring it to your attention so you can bring it up at the mayor's.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to come up? You can come on up.
Okay, good.
Hi, Susan.
Hey, how are
It's been a
you?
long time, fractured femur. So, First of all, I want to thank it's David Snide, 91 Windsor Circle. I haven't done this in a long time. I want to thank the mayor and council for finally canceling Charlie Brown's. I've read everything that was done on it and the oil tanks, the gas tanks that are below. We didn't need to spend any more money. I thank you. Number two, the shredding I had mentioned when you had the last shredding availability at Bethany. I had mentioned to the mayor, they ran out a couple hours before it was over. And then I was told that we're only allowed, and you can clarify that, Mr. Mayor, we're only allowed, I guess, one truck or whatever was available there. And I would think that with everybody working at home now, it's still going to become a problem and not have to go up to Mawa to be able to go up to a shredding facility. And our town should be able to provide enough shredding that people can get the full hours that they have to be there. Because I know my wife was in line and she got turned away.
We heard that from a couple of people.
Yeah.
Can we answer that piece?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Is there a way to increase the trucks, to have more trucks come, or how do we?
Yeah, what happened with that event was it was via the county, and so we can't limit it to just in-town people because the county sponsored it.
Yeah.
We're looking to schedule one in the fall that would be just for township residents.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it would, all right. So we'll have it once a year or?
The one from the county is once a year, and then we can now schedule a few, to go along
During
with
the
that.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be very important.
And there is one scheduled for October 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on
I
the
don't know
town
the-
page.
Okay, but again, that one may be.
No, it's at 605 Pascack Road. In
But
the,
it's for the township only, right?
well, no, we can't limit it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't
it's the county one,
limit.
but he's saying he wants to do, you
Right.
said you wanted to do a town.
One for
private
town
one.
only.
No,
Yeah.
right, but I'm saying there is one scheduled for October 22nd.
605 sounds like
It
Bethany,
is
which they
Bethany,
usually
yes.
are there.
Yeah, just so you know, in case you don't hear, there is one in October also.
All right. I just want to make sure that our residents
Mhm.
have the first access to it.
Right.
Just like when we were going to do disposing of any items up here, they'd have a sticker or whatever they were doing.
Right.
So I appreciate you looking into that. The other thing is, do we have a timeline on the telephone poles that are still being done? And I know around the county, every street I would go to, I see detours. And I wonder when our Pascack Road, from where we start to where we end, will be completed on the telephone pole situation. Someone could answer it.
The activity for the past couple of weeks is down from what it was at the height of it.
Yeah.
They haven't given us an official date yet, but I hope it's soon based on the activity lowering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that'll be it once it's going down.
It'll be it for Optimum, who's doing most of that work. We can't say that someone will come in right behind and say they want to upgrade theirs, but. for
No,
Optimum-
you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm pleased at the intersection, and I hope that will happen sooner rather than later. Because we obviously know the light there to make a left turn going north on Pascack Road is very difficult. It's only 30 seconds. And you said it would be somewhere, Mr. Mayor, September, October?
The intersection?
Yeah.
No, they're hoping to start within the next couple of weeks.
And that will include the traffic light? Okay.
I mean, it might be a while before they replace the actual light because they have to do all the work, paving and things like that around the intersection.
And when they do that, is there going to be for anyone that takes the bus, any of the commuters, is there going to be any like walk sign that could light up or something when someone's walking across so no one gets hurt when the cars are coming down? You know, they come down. In the old days, I used to take the bus every day, but I don't do it anymore.
They did speak about in one of the meetings that they're in touch with New Jersey Transit because they may have to detour the bus when certain construction is going on. So that's on their radar. I don't know the answer to your question about, if they're going to have, what they're going to have in place for people crossing to use the existing stop.
Okay.
But let me say, police are usually, whenever they're doing construction, so I'm sure if the police see someone who needs to cross, they will assist.
I know, but in the morning, the traffic is heavy coming both ways. You know that.
Yeah.
Do you mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you mean like a permanent cross now type
Yeah,
thing? He means
yeah.
permanently, not just
Oh,
while the-
Oh, I
permanent-
mean permanently.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant just while the
No,
construction
I'm just
was going
thinking
on.
of,
Oh,
so no one gets hurt.
Yes, yes.
yes, we will.
Yes, it's in the permanent plan. Yes.
Great. Okay,
Sorry,
thank you.
I misunderstood you, sorry.
The other thing, I'm pleased at 168 on the signaling. I know that was an issue because everything's going to back up on the Garden State Parkway. However, we have to have signaling there somewhere so we don't have a problem. I don't know how we're going to resolve it unless there's another exit, but it doesn't look like our neighbors at Woodcliff Lake are going to allow that ever. So I don't know how we go through that. I've been talking about that for 15 years here, at least.
And the
only
story
thing-
has not changed, unfortunately.
I know,
as you
I know,
said.
I know, I understand that.
What do you mean signaling? I'm sorry.
At the bottom, at the exit, when you come off the Garden State Parkway,
Right,
going north,
okay.
and then you get onto the road to go up to the
Washington,
corner, Washington
yeah.
Ave.
Either make the left or the right off of the exit.
Yeah,
But that would back up the entire,
it's still going to back up, but there's got to be some, you said, Mr. Mayor, they were looking into signaling.
Yes,
On that,
yeah.
are they talking about a caution sign, a blinking, or are they talking about a signal?
In the meeting, it came up, what they said is they'll look at the traffic patterns. It would probably be evening rush hour, a full signal, and then at other times blinking when it's non.
Okay, okay. The assisted living and long-term care place that's going up, I think I had spoke a long time ago to Councilman Sears that I was concerned about coming in and coming out. Being in Washington Commons, a lot of the people could very easily go in, turn around. We see people coming into our place now and turning around and going out. And I didn't know what side the entrance was going to be for the cars coming into that senior living place. And I'm concerned about it because it's going to become an issue.
There's going to be a loop around the building, David.
Yeah.
is there?
Yeah.
All right. So when there's a loop around the building,
You're going to come in and go around and come out the other side. That's what was planned.
all right. So when you come in from, okay,
Pascal.
Thank you.
I guess I'm done. I think
You
that's,
can, feel free, if you run out of time, to send an email and we'll answer.
yeah, I think I've answered it. I mean, I've asked
Okay.
the major ones. And I hope that assisted living thing takes care of itself on the coming in and out to make the turns. That's the key. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Good to see you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Good.
Believe me.
Get well. Anyone else like to come up? Come on up.
Mary Ann Osmond, 960 Adams Place. Before I get into my real questions, I have a couple comments just. You came out, I went to check the resolutions from last meeting about the closed session, and all of the council voted to go into closed session and not to come out. Well, was there a resolution to actually come out of closed session so that you took a vote? And I'd like to know where the resolution is not to purchase, and from the newspaper, it said everybody voted to not purchase. Does anybody know what that, I haven't seen the resolution anywhere. Do we have the resolution for it, Mr. Pollard?
Yeah, there was well, first of all, it's just an announcement of whether there was an intention to come out, and at the time there wasn't. It's not a resolution not to come out, it's just we give the public.
I know it.
Yeah.
No,
Let me continue, okay? So, we went into closed and it was determined that they wanted to move ahead. So they came out, moved to come out, and it was on the dais, and it was recorded. Not recorded, it was the minutes were taken down, correct, Madam Clerk, right? Okay, and there was a vote, and there was a vote, a public vote at that particular time.
Was there a resolution? I didn't.
I don't know, there was no resolution, there was a vote, just a vote.
Oh, so there's not going to be any,
The contract has been canceled. The contract was canceled.
well, I know, but
So
usually.
you don't need a
resolution.
you don't need a resolution. Action can be taken by a vote as well as by a resolution.
20 years from now, it just seems very strange. There'll never be anything to show
There'll be
what
minutes
exactly
to
happened.
show, there'll be minutes to show a vote, and then there'll be action that took place when the contract was canceled.
Okay, there's a house next to 450 Pascack Road is now up for sale again. It would be perfect if the town bought it. You're gonna do what you're gonna do with 450 anyway, and make a beautiful police department. Just a suggestion. The swim club, please don't let it sit there and deteriorate. The town needs a swim club itself. I mean, and I know for recreation and all, that's fine, but they need a swim club. If you look at Ramsey, Woodcliff Lake, Park Ridge, Paramus, and Hillsdale, Hillsdale makes a great deal of money, revenue from their pool. My granddaughter is a lifeguard there, and every day it is packed. You can't find a place to park. And it's a beautiful place, and we don't have to be as big and splashy, but it will give the residents, we keep saying we want things for the residents. Well, I think a lot of the residents who have left, of course, the township closed, we went to Hillsdale, they went to all different places, Paramus. So please, don't let it just sit there and deteriorate completely. Come up with a plan quickly, because right now it's just deteriorating. One thing quickly, in your resolutions tonight, you have resolutions returning recreation fees and swim fees to residents, and that's fine, but there's 4 of the resolutions that have an administrative fee deducted from the amount. And we have an ordinance that says that it has to be done that way. But there are 3 of resolutions that do not have that $25 taken out. I would just like, when somebody gets around, to give me an explanation why 3 do not have it and, the 4 do. Now I'm going to get to my real questions.
Do you want us to email you that? Or you want
Yeah,
it
if
now?
you can email
Okay.
me, that's fine. It's just that, I know the ordinance says you're supposed to have Janet put that in. She wanted to make some money on, people. It doesn't. Okay, now, I have I have quite a few questions, but I'm only going to get a few in. And it says that the council, the administration sent the responses to me. Now, may I ask if I don't think you're the administration, you aren't. I didn't think so. I know Mr. Poller is and Mr. Togo. Mrs. Phoenix, you stated at the last meeting that the council discussed all of my questions during the budget. So it would presume that you would have had all the answers and not having to go to other people.
Right.
Okay. But obviously you didn't answer these because I can tell.
Oh, no, I answered the ones I sent to you. I sent you separately.
So you know about statutes in the town?
No, some of them, I believe, Mayor answered that came out to your email as administration, because I get copied on the
Well,
stuff.
no, these are all for salary ordinances, so they're all salary ordinances.
Oh, okay, so I sent you something totally different
Okay.
on my answers. You didn't get it?
No?
Oh,
I
yeah.
sent it to her today. Today you got it. I
What?
sent it to you today.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get anything. All right.
It's okay.
Okay, let me know tomorrow if you didn't get it, and I will resend it in case it got blocked for some reason.
So I sent you whatever questions you sent to me that I thought that I had the
Well,
answers
these then-
for.
Okay.
And the
because
ones-
These came from the administration.
Right, the ones I couldn't answer, I wasn't 100% sure on, the mayor took those. Go ahead.
All right, so now we talked about, I asked about the CFO and how many hours is part-time, and of course, the answer I got was anything less than 35. Well, is there any way that this man works every day? And they're saying, no, he doesn't. But he has to answer to somebody for the hours he puts in for this town, for the amount of money that he makes. Is there any means that he fills out, any forms that he fills out? And if there is, I'd like a copy from January to June of all his hours. I think it's very important to see how many hours that the CFO, which is a very large responsibility. I actually looked up our code and I looked at all the responsibility of the CFO, and it's an awful lot of work. I asked about directors. and what their responsibilities were. And I was told to go and look up a statute. Well, I kind of realized where I got that answer from. It says each department shall be headed by a director who shall be appointed by the mayor with the advice and consent of the council. Each department head shall serve during the term of the office of the mayor appointing him and until the appointment and qualifications of its successor. Now, it goes on to talk about an assessor, and I don't really need that. That does not give me an answer to what an actual director does. I'm looking for a director from this town. Does he have meetings with the mayor? Does the council know exactly what the directors are doing? Now, there was another part of this which was very interesting, which I had forgotten about as somebody who worked for this town. The municipality, and this is the statutes, the municipality shall have Department of Administration and such other departments, not less than 2 and not exceeding 9 in number. Well, 9 in number, I went to our own codes. We have 10. I don't understand that. And this has been going on, even when I worked here. So I don't know if this is a mistake or it has to be revised, but according to our code, there are 10 departments.
Time's up, Mrs. Osmond, I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you know why we have more than we're supposed to?
I do not.
Okay, could
I do
you
not.
find out for me?
I sure will. Yeah.
Okay. And then I will continue with this next time we come.
Yeah, and if you would like to look over, I'm not opposed to you coming back. If you see my email and you read it and you want still to come back up and ask questions, you could do that. It's fine.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have one to Mrs. Osmond.
Okay.
I do agree with you. We should buy the property next to 450 and put a police station there. It is perfect. Center of town,
Perfect.
plenty of parking. I agree with you 100%.
Neighbors can't complain. It's a wonderful.
Well, okay, so that's yes.
But that's nothing to do with it. They really shouldn't. It's the police. And you heard, even when they talked about doing it at 95 Linwood Avenue, oh, we don't mind a police department. They said that.
Anyway, in my opinion, I do feel that it's a good location for a police department, and our police officers are very much deserving of that. I think.
Yes, because we hired a new woman and she doesn't have the facilities in the, in this building. Because I know that Heather always complained that she didn't have a place.
So anyway, so I believe that they need a new facility. I think it's an attractive service that we provide our town. We have wonderful police officers, majority are residents, and I think that's a great asset to have in town. I also agree, which I've been saying from the start, everybody knows, I think we should absolutely work to open the pool and make some sort of use of that available to our residents for a reasonable price, but also keeping in mind the operating expenses and how it's going to impact the cost for the membership.
You need a pool commission.
But just wait. I'm well aware of what's needed. We belong to another community in New Jersey, and the town runs their own pool, similar to Stony Brook. Sorry. So it does make a lot of money. It does, no business is right off the bat profitable. It'll be a few years possibly being in the red. But I do think the jobs for our young people, activities for teenagers, and possibly, summer activities for preteens, swim lessons, bringing lifeguards in, having some sort of having the movie nights there and with a snack bar.
Which they always did.
Right. So I think that's something that's absolutely warranted. And if we're not moving forward with other capital improvements in town, we should look to move some of the budget in that direction. I've received several inquiries from residents who are 100% interested in a town pool, and even prospective residents who are moving into town. So I do agree with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to?
Desiree, may I make 2 quick comments?
Oh, sure.
I left off of my monthly report. I did have a preliminary meeting with Boswell Engineering about the swim club property and the topography and what we will be able to do there in light of it. So they're working on it. I don't think I said that in my monthly report. Second is I do need to issue a correction. We do have facilities for women officers. I saw them just a week or 2 ago. They're much smaller than the men's, but they are down there. She has a separate restroom and a separate locker area.
We saw that as well.
Okay, good.
Okay. Come on up. There is someone with his hands raised up to get that person right up.
Hi, Anthony Conti, Ridgewood Boulevard North, 490, that is. Steve, you want to see fun? Come watch down Adams. When they come down Adams, Ridgewood Boulevard North, they don't even stop for the stop sign. They just right around the corner.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, and speed like crazy. Okay, the mayor originally said something regarding the swim club, that he would use it for recreation and other purposes. I'd like to know what the other purposes are, and does that mean the DPW equipment is staying there? Question mark?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was jotting it down, I'm sorry. The other purposes, just kind of something I threw out there. The town does not, that I know of, have another place to put the DPW equipment right now. So I'm sorry this is the answer, but I'm going to answer you truthfully. It's staying there indefinitely. I can't think of another place to put it. If anyone else can, I'm happy to consider it as the department is. But
So when you originally said it was temporary, that was an untruth.
that's not true.
Okay, explain that.
We tried something at Charlie Brown's. It didn't work out. I was hoping that would have worked out. Then that need would have been taken care of at that property. I still hope that we can find another location for the equipment. I don't enjoy keeping it there, especially when we do, make it into, park, fields, playgrounds, whatever it is.
Right.
I don't want DPW equipment there. But if anyone from the public, anyone on the council can tell me where they think that equipment can go, I know it cannot go in the parking lot here. There's just not enough room for it. You see the volume of it.
Oh, I
You
agree.
see the size of our parking lot here.
It's
So
huge.
I'm happy to entertain anything that anyone thinks will work.
So would you give me permission to talk to other towns so that I can reach out to other towns and see if they're looking for either shared services or if we can store equipment on their property?
You don't need permission from me to talk to other towns.
About business for the town, I would.
Well, then I can't give you that permission as a resident.
So I wouldn't mind actually taking the lead on that and trying to, reach out to other towns to see if we could do that, to store some seasonal equipment through shared services. I would need some, I guess for the legal pieces of it, I would like some,
I don't know what towns you want to reach out to. Again, I always talk to my fellow mayors about it. They've all said, they don't have enough room at their places, so it can't be there.
Paramus also denied the request to store equipment.
Right.
They said no, they weren't
And,
interested.
Let's face it, they have the same problem that any, or even our own people would have. Can you find any private property that's going to be taken in another town that the residents aren't going to be in an uproar? I imagine it would have to go to a zoning board there if we were able to do something. So I don't mean to be pessimistic, but I'm trying to be truthful.
But other towns do have commercial areas. We do not have anything commercial, and you made my backyard commercial.
Okay.
could it be that we're,
I did not. If you have an alternative, I'm happy to listen, but circumstances did. I personally did not. So I respectfully disagree with you on that.
Disagree all you want. Okay, the other
We
question.
could keep paying for OLGC. I mean, everybody is complaining about us paying for OLGC, but if we had other commercial space, we would still have to pay for it. So whether we pay for OLGC for that space or pay for a commercial, it doesn't seem to be that, unfortunately, with not having another space to store equipment, we are running out of options. And, several towns had, Westwood said no, Paramus said no, Hillsdale said no, Woodcliff Lake they all said no. So I completely.
You spoke to all these towns?
I spoke to them, yes. I called, and I do know for sure Westwood said no. They do not have any space whatsoever. They're tight on space themselves. Hillsdale said they don't have any extra space.
They want to use the old waste management area.
Well, I think they have some issues going on in their own town that they're trying to find space for. If you read the paper,
Are we sitting at the table with the right people that we're asking, though? Or are we just cold calling and asking to speak with the DPW, director? Are we actually sitting? I know you talked to the mayors. I know that you.
You shouldn't talk to the DPW directors. They have no say in it.
That's what I'm asking.
Mhm.
I don't
Right.
know who
I mean-
Council
I
Vice
have to
President
say,
Feeney has spoken with.
Stacy, if we're going to pay to put it somewhere else, let's pay to keep it in town, at least
Yeah.
where it's close. But I'm going to say, lobby the council. They control the purse strings. If they approve it, I'm happy to move it.
Which council? Well, you can't I can't lobby for something that I don't know what the cost would be. I need to talk to the
I'm sure we could get good
counselors, find out
counsel
what
for the same price that it was.
Right. It would be to extend the contract for good counsel to keep leasing
Our
space.
Lady of Good Counsel?
Yes.
It was 2,500.
No one complained about it when it was there, to my knowledge.
I mean, but I'm just curious, in your opinion, why is that still not a good option? It gets it out of your backyard.
It's not a matter of getting it out of my backyard. It's a matter of doing what's right for the town.
But where do we put it?
And why is
Well,
good counsel?
that's why I said, if we talk to Hillsdale, if we talk to Paramus, if we talk to the Bergen County Community Council, the Bergen County executive, if we talk to these people, we reach out to them and see if there is a viable option and put something in writing of what we're willing to do and maybe what they're willing to accept.
But if it's
Then we
further,
have somewhere to go. We can negotiate instead of just, hello, are you interested? No, we're not interested. Click. That's not a negotiation. That's not even an effort. When you put something in writing and you put an effort forward, you put an effort forward in writing, you put it down on a piece of paper. You say, hey, this is what the township has. This is what we're looking for, X amount of square feet to store our equipment. Not shared services, just store our equipment. What can you do? How can you help?
so if we're going to pay for space in another town, which is most likely what would happen, we would have to pay for space. I mean,
Okay,
it's,
so you're gonna-
just
you're
wait,
gonna
if you
leave-
don't mind, I have a question. So if we would have to pay for space, say it was in Paramus, it makes the commute with traffic on a regular basis for the DPW employees who are working an extra 15 or 20 minutes. Just that,
It's
just,
seasonal. It's seasonal
so
equipment.
it doesn't matter. It still makes they have to go somewhere. So that is a fact, right? It is. It's a fact. They have to go somewhere and get the equipment and bring it back, right? And we still have to pay. So it wouldn't most likely be for free. I highly doubt another town would give us space for free because I haven't seen any. So why not pay to keep it closer if there is space?
And
I'm
a
just,
participant.
yeah, and I'm just curious why that's not a good idea, in your opinion.
In my opinion,
Yeah,
I think keeping church and state separate is important.
but but other churches rent space all the time.
And again, I don't mean to interrupt, but then you roll out the partnership we have with Bethany. They're part of a church. We do many shared programs with them.
You're
and
not
so-
renting, you're renting from them? You're renting their
For our
property?
summer rec program, we rent basketball space from them for use at their gymnasium. Then there's plenty of things where these partnerships work. Again, it can be your opinion that it's not a good idea, but it happens in many towns throughout.
So what I'm hearing from the council is it's okay to give the money to OLGC to store the equipment, but it's not okay to talk to Bergen County, the executive of
That's
Bergen
not what I
County, and
said.
give the money to them. as well.
I did not say that.
I have a question, though. I'm
No,
sorry.
wait, I'm sorry. I'd just like to respond to his answer. I did not say that. What I said was it would be I didn't say that. What I said, it's in the best interest of the town to keep the equipment local and close so that our DPW employees don't have to go somewhere. And if we have an existing arrangement with someone in town,
Mhm.
right? And like we do with Bethany, I'm curious as to what's the difference between our relationship with Bethany and our relationship with OLGC.
So I'm gonna finish what I was gonna say as well. Have we explored, or could we explore, what costs would be if we were charged? Let's say we spoke with the county executive and he was gracious enough to say, yes, at the annex we have space. You could put your vehicles there. We're gonna charge you X amount of money. Possibly it's less than we would be paying for Bethany, and it's next door. So I mean, if we could exhaust all other options, then when we're left with the only option, it's a little more palatable.
We have reached out to the county also. What the county has told us is, we appreciate you asking. If we do it for you, we have to have it in place to do for every other town. We do not have that much space. We can't start something new that another town can say, oh, you rented 5,000 square feet to Washington Township. Where's ours? So I understand that. They can't go down that road. We have asked. But I'm happy to hear suggestions, and I don't always think to bring them up. So when we have a discussion like this, certain things come back to my mind. We've asked the county, we've asked all the mayors. No one has space on their own property. And as Councilwoman Feeney said, if the council's going to decide to pay, let's keep it in town. Let's help a local church. There's nothing wrong with that. We're paying a reasonable fee for something. So again.
All right, speaking of the church, last meeting you said you would have a list of, we have determined at this point that the window at Bethany was 2,500. As to Mr. Tovo, at the last meeting, you said you would get Council President Morgan the information of what else the $8,000 went to, which would be 5,500. She said she would forward it on to me. I have not received anything from Ms. Morgan yet, so I'm not sure if you sent anything to her.
I have not sent it to her. I have a lot of the documentation. I can assure you you'll have something by the end of the week. Does the clerk have your contact info and email address? Okay. Yeah, you'll have it by the end of the week. There's just 2 other pieces of information I need to confirm.
All right, well, I just want to be clear that your temporary situation with the swim club has now become permanent, correct?
The town's situation with the swim club is temporary, but we're always looking for things.
Well, you put it there. You gave the order to put it there.
No, the council told me that they wanted to stop paying for OLGC now that we had the space. So I'm going to say it was all of us up
It
here.
was at a meeting?
I honestly, I respectfully, I don't remember saying that. I don't remember talking about that. That
Okay.
was not brought up in the council. Does anyone else recall?
We
that
did
conversation?
actually say during budget that we'd like to stop paying for OLGC.
Don't remember that at all. I'm going to have to look back. If that's the case,
Then let's decide right now. Do you want to put it back? If I'm wrong,
I don't think we can decide right now. This is not the forum for it, but we have to definitely have more conversation around
okay.
it.
We can have a straw poll to see who's interested, to see if he should pursue a contract.
In the middle
or
of
not.
public comment, we're not doing that right now.
I thought it was a dialogue.
It's a dialogue. Why are we straw polling?
What I'm saying,
We
because
have
then
to
he
have
has to,
more conversation around it.
well, he has to start a contract
Well,
to see how much it would cost, and
why
then
don't
we
you
would
put it on
have
the
Okay,
next meeting
let's straw
agenda?
poll it.
Oh, I'm
Let's
sorry.
straw poll it.
Because we
Sorry,
have to know
I
how
didn't
much
mean to
it
throw
would
my
be, right?
suggestion in.
No, that's okay. Let's straw poll.
Should I sit at this point?
All right, you have any other
I
questions?
have no idea what I should do.
What do you?
So.
Well, I would like
Heads
the
are gonna
mayor to see
prevail.
how much it would cost to
Cooler
get
heads are gonna
the contract
prevail.
together for storage of the vehicles at OLGC.
So
How much
cooler
they would
heads are
charge
going to
us.
prevail. And what we are going to do is find out more information.
Mhm.
And we will, at the next meeting, we will discuss,
Okay.
we will formalize something at that point.
Okay, and I'll be waiting for that Bethany.
Itemized list. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just let me know what further information you want for the discussion.
Cost.
That's
What-
all.
Where'd the money go?
Oh, no, he means
Oh,
for
for the
the swim club. Yeah.
Sorry.
Cost and continued availability, like if it's still
Okay.
feasible, yeah.
Council President,
Yes.
can we also get how long of a contract we're willing to be a part of? Like, how long are we
Well-
gonna start wherever?
I think, Ken, you might want to weigh on this. How long can we sign a contract for, to rent space?
You need to speak.
Yeah, okay, so I was looking up something. Okay, go ahead. Give me this again.
I think when we went to do this last time, how long can we sign a contract for to lease space for? I think you said there are some
Yeah.
guidelines.
Yeah, I have
That
to,
we
I have
can't-
to, I have to go back and check the statutes.
All right, because let me say, I'm reasonably sure, as long as a contract we're willing to sign, they will take. So that's why I'm asking, and the council should give it some thought also in case that's their answer.
So because we're still discussing this, I want to just throw something out there. Obviously, I don't want to rent space indefinitely. We are exploring, you said that the architect is coming back with a drawing, a rendering for the DPW here in this space.
Correct.
As I mentioned, creatively, the architect presuming we have a good architect, that he can come up with a couple of renderings that can show us best efficient usage of space. Once we can figure out how much we can fit in there, we should be able to then pull back on or renegotiate the price that we're paying at Bethany. So if we're using 500.
Do you really need Bethany?
I mean, sorry, not
Yeah,
Bethany,
okay.
OLGC.
Okay.
If we're using 2,000 square feet, I'm just throwing it out there. Now, when we build this DPW and we do have some space and we move a lot of our equipment over and we're using a smaller amount of space, I would want the ability to negotiate that price down because we're using less square footage. So that is why I think we need to discuss a little more and be responsible and smarter than less impulsive in our decisions.
Well, it's not impulsive if we're actually a resident saying he's not happy with where the equipment is, and we do have an option to revisit OLGC. We're just starting to explore the what the cost would be based upon the equipment that's currently being stored at the swim club would be the starting point, right?
No, I
Mr.
think
Mayor?
the impulsive piece was doing a straw poll during public comment. But go ahead.
Mr. Morgan,
Mhm.
I think we got to move on with the public comment
Right.
because this is a
Yeah,
discussion we should have at some other time, not to
Agreed.
discuss it now.
Agreed.
People are waiting online and you have other people in the audience. Just a
This
suggestion.
debate is nice, but
I agree with you.
Let's
Which is
move on.
why I wanted to.
Let's have backup. We need some backup.
Is there
for
any
these.
other, is there anyone else? Oh, there's someone online.
Yes,
Let's
yeah,
see.
one
Yeah,
person
get
online.
get along, get along.
Hello, are you there? You need to unmute. Hello? Oh, no, hello?
Scare them away.
No, they're there, but they're not unmuting.
All right, we'll come back. Is there anyone here that, come on up?
Good evening. My name is Tommy State. I live at 772 Cotch Peak Avenue in Washington Township. I want to start by thanking the 4 members of the Town Council for attending the most recent Board of Education meeting. Your presence at the meeting was strongly felt and appreciated by many. Only working together can we continue to make Township a great place to live. Thank you for your engagement regarding the Class 3 SLEOs. With your support, there will now be one SLEO every day in all 6 schools. Let me say that again. There will now be one SLEO every day in all 6 schools next year. The safety of our children is the utmost important. Now another step in the right direction will be in place. Considering the initial vote for the Class 3 SLEOs, thankfully approved by only 2 board members, had 2 officers in the high school and 1 in the middle school with none in either Westwood or Township elementary schools. Now we have 6 SLEOs with 1 in each building in a matter of just a few weeks is a great example of parent advocates, town council leadership, and everyone else in the community working together. Another example of what it looks like when things are done well and done right. On behalf of my learners, thank you, Mayor Pete, President Morgan, and council members. I'd also like to thank the members of this community that do not have children in the district, but still felt it was important to come and speak at the Board of Ed meetings. We appreciate your commitment to attending the meetings, as well as the time and energy spent developing your message. I can attest firsthand that it's not easy gathering your thoughts, getting up in front of the board in a crowd of complete strangers, and exposing yourself to endless criticism. But yet you've been there month after month and are as committed as if you still had children in the district. Hope to see you next Tuesday, and thank you again for speaking on behalf of all the children. The spring softball season was very successful. The 3-4 spring semifinals showcased 3 out of the 4 Washington Township teams. The all-township semifinal was very exciting and went into extra innings. Congratulations to Team Capasso that went on to win the championship game. The grade 5-6 softball field final was also showcased 2 teams from Washington Township. Congratulations to Team Smith on their victory. The summer softball season has our young ladies in a number of different leagues. We have 2 2-3 teams for the very first time, and we have 2 3-4 teams. Congratulations to Team Santate's Falcons White on their victory in the Wyckoff tournament a few weeks ago. Best of luck to Team Sardina Falcons Blue this weekend as they take part in their very first summer tournament and the Allendale Sizzle tournament. As of last week, the 12U softball was undefeated. Well done, ladies. As you can see, the softball program is continuing to expand, and our players are growing every day into stronger athletes and amazing young ladies. Wouldn't it be great if Township had a complex where we could have host a softball, baseball, or lacrosse tournament? Just think what it would do not only for our athletes, but for the town. The restaurant and stores in town center would get more business, and more importantly, the young people of this town could gladly and proudly boast about the fields as well as their amazing athletic accomplishments. Being a part of the rec travel program, I've seen many different complexes between the last year when my oldest daughter was part of the Kinderkamak League, and now different complexes this year as her team is part of the Midland Park League. As I visit these fields in towns as close as Montvale and Wyckoff, and further away in Fairlawn and Mahwah, I can't help but look around and think, why can't our athletes have this? Why? Not just to show off to other towns, but to give our athletes a nice, stable, reliable place to play. The drainage on some of our fields is so under par that a few weeks ago, the team my daughter plays on and a few of the parents and the manager had to go to Gardner to tarp the infield to ensure that we would have a game that night. Thankfully, they had the tarps and the helpers to get this done. Please understand, I'm not blaming anyone or trying to make anyone a scapegoat. I'm just simply looking for a tactical and long-term solutions and strategies to these problems. Well, at the ball field, I've heard from other parents, other softball parents, that there's a plan to improve our fields. When can we expect to know what that plan is? Now, I must apologize in advance, as you've probably figured out by now.
1 minute left.
I'm not a terribly patient man, but I'm also a parent that has attended many practices and games over the last couple of years. I've seen firsthand how hard our players practice every week and give it their all every inning and every period of every lacrosse game. Madam President and council members, I hope that you can find a way to invest in our fields sooner rather than later, so that all of our young people can practice and play safely, no matter what sport or season they play in. I want to again thank you for your participation in last month at the Board of Ed meeting, as well as your time and consideration this evening. Stay safe and be well.
Thank you.
Desiree, can I make a comment about that? Thank you. They're all very valid points. And again, I'm sorry I didn't include it in my monthly report, but when I met with Boswell about the swim club property, they're also going to make some suggestions to do things at Memorial Field, because we really want those two complexes to complement each other. And so at their suggestion, they've asked if they can make some suggestions also as to how the fields may complement each other. And so, again, we're going to come up with a vision, because mostly at all the other fields, they're baseball diamonds. We want to see what else we can do. So that is being spoken about. Just having gotten the swim club property, as you know, there's no overnight thing, but I want to assure you that, we're working on a plan.
Can I just make a comment, because you raised a great point about the Memorial Field? I mean, that could be a marquee location for people to drive back and forth as you're coming through town. Kind of like when I drive by Deepak Road, I go, wow.
Right.
It would be pretty cool if we had our own. Granted, it's a small piece of property, but it sure would be pretty cool for families and especially families trying to drive through the middle of town and go, wow. So I
Agree.
I don't disagree, yeah.
appreciate that, and thank you.
Thank you. I agree with you. We agree with you.
Madam President. Mr. Mayor, do we have a timeline on when we'll perhaps get a first peek at what they're working on?
It was tough for Boswell to commit because, again, with summer, they have a lot of their engineers on vacation and like that. So they promised to keep it moving, but they did not want to give me a firm timeline. Like the person I was dealing with at Boswell, the head person, is on vacation all of this week. So we said we would talk next week and, then go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to come up?
William Ferrara, 2556 Cleveland Avenue. I wanted to bring up something that came to my attention actually came to my attention about a week ago, and I thought it wasn't true. And it came to my attention yesterday, and I found out, hope it's still not true. The swim program that's being run at Bethany Community Center as part of the summer program, I understand they don't have certified lifeguards. They are relying on the counselors in case there's an issue. Is that correct? Does anybody know?
I am not aware of that.
Well,
Does
if they're not
anyone know?
certified
So,
lifeguards
yeah, I
over
go
there,
to
they
the-
should pull out the
I'm-
program.
I'm sorry, Ms. Farrar, I go to the pool there. They have certified lifeguards.
They do have to
They
do the
do,
program.
yeah.
Okay, fine,
Yes,
I'll correct my
sorry.
son.
Thank you for bringing that up, though.
They
Oh,
do,
yes,
yeah.
You know, he heard it from other people. The other thing I wanted to bring up has to do with the $1,350,000 bond ordinance, which is now to purchase 95 Linwood Avenue has been canceled. The purchase has been canceled. So the bond ordinance should be canceled tonight. I had brought this up about bond ordinance 1704 in 2019, when they decided to not expand the firehouse and build a new firehouse. And they came up with $1.3 million estimate to build a DPW building. And I brought it up at a public meeting and it was never done. So now that bond ordinance is still there. You've borrowed $2,568,000 last year on a ban. Tomorrow, you're going to get a permanent bonding rate for that bond ordinance, and as part of the $12,500,000. And there's still $2 million outstanding that has never been spent. So now we're borrowing money, and next year we'll be paying back the principal, and maybe we won't have spent it. I think that's really ludicrous. I think we should be only borrowing money when the mayor spoke last week. A woman brought it up 2 weeks ago. We only borrow money when we need it. We don't need the $2 million today. We may need it 6 months from now. We may need it a year from now. But to be bonding at these interest rates for 20 years for things that you don't need, that's one example. The second example is hopefully this fire apparatus will be here in a month, so that's fine. But you still haven't gotten 2 fire garbage trucks, $500,000 that you're bonding for. I think that's a mistake. I think you should go back and look at what you're bonding for and correct it. Now, since you're running up against the deadline, I'm going to ask you to suggest and request from Mr. Bielefeld that this is legal. Maybe Mr. Powell has an opinion whether the town, if they issue the bonds, can actually purchase some of the bonds in the market and hold them so you're paying interest to yourself rather than paying interest to a third party until you need the money, and then let them sell them. It's similar to a treasury stock transaction. The other thing I wanted to bring up had to do with the road improvements. You've got on the agenda tonight a number 297 is to for $510,874.83 to pave the town improvement program for the year. I went to the capital budget. I don't see where there's any money for the road improvement other than the money to do Lafayette Avenue, which is $211,000. So where is that money coming from? Or else, please tell me I misread the capital budget item. The second item has to do with the $53,422.50 for Sherry Field paving. Over the years, I brought up this at Sherry Field, condition of Sherry Field parking lot a number of times. Right, and I've been told that it's not doable because of wetlands. And now we're doing it. So I just want to know what's changed in the wetlands. And if there's 1 minute left, I would like to ask if anybody has any opinion on the audit report that was reported in the press yesterday, because to me that is a disaster. After all the time and money that was spent here to straighten out the records, that in 1 year it has deteriorated to that extent. And I want to know why you're not going back to the practice that existed prior to COVID, when Mr. Vinci or Mr. May came in and sat down in front of the council and discussed the audit report. Because you can get away with not reading that audit report and just sign the document that says you did and send it away. But it just seems to me that there's a lot of problems in that audit report that have to be addressed.
Mr.
Do we
Farrar,
have any time left?
Mr. Farrar, specifically, which items in the audit report do you think that we should definitely go back to Lord Vinci with?
Anything that appeared in the newspaper, plus this one, which describes it a little
I
bit
know, I
better.
read that in the newspaper, but the findings, I think there's I'll go back and look at the article, but we have the audit reports here, and maybe you'd like to just take a look at that against what the article said?
I'm sorry?
Did you take a look at the audit report that's available?
I read the article and I
don't know
have
what to
here a
do.
copy of the recommendations page from the audit. report.
Yes,
That I
and then-
also read,
yeah.
okay? And the thing that bothers me the most is that our audit revealed required procedures and documentation were not adhered to make available to audit for the acquisition of a fire apparatus through a national cooperative purchasing program. How many fire apparatuses have we ever bought in this town?
I think
One, until the next one comes in next week. And you can't find the documentation for it for the auditor? That's ridiculous. That is absolutely incompetent.
Okay,
You
just
know,
was
and I can
curious
go
what you
down through
got.
the whole list if you want me to. You can read the report too.
No, I have the report here.
But you're the people who are being paid to take care of this and make sure that all the wonderful things you're trying to do are great. But your primary responsibility is trustee of the taxpayers' funds, and it's not happening. I'm sorry. Sorry to say that. I do have another question. If you get me an extra second from Mr. Pollard. Sure. When I called into the meeting, the special meeting, and asked about whether or not the bonding ordinance for purchase of the Linwood Avenue project could be used for anything other than Linwood Avenue, you answered that because it said other purposes. That's correct. And I would assume that clause or some similar clause is just about probably in every other document. My question is, if that other purpose is going to be utilized, does the council have to approve that change? Or can anybody do it?
No, well, the council's the only party that can actually spend the money anyway.
Yes, but
They're the ones who control the expenditure anyway. In other words, if you talk about the repurpose, the repurpose,
So for
it's the
instance,
council.
the
that has to-
1,350,000 that's out there right now.
The council has to vote on it. I mean, the council controls that.
So if the council decided to buy a piece of property to put up a police department in Pascack Road, they would vote on that separately. Or that could be covered under that ordinance.
They would vote on whether to use those funds for that purpose.
They would have to vote on it. That's what I'm trying to gather.
They would not need a new bond
The
ordinance.
sense I have from reading through the report is that a lot of decisions were made to move money and not to bring to the council, again, another comment in the report about don't bring to the council any change orders. Change orders corrected were issued that nobody brought to the council about. Now, there was a lot of discussion about a change order that had to do with the new firehouse, which was a couple of $100,000. So I don't know what authority people think they have, but it just very bothersome, very bothersome. There's a couple of other things, but I'll sit down because I think I'm over 5 minutes by now.
Is there any comment from?
I know, Mr. Farr, with change orders, any change order should come in front of the council. No matter how big, how small, an addition, an omission, whatever it may be. We don't get those for whatever reason. And when you talk about the audit report, there are several things in that audit report that are redundant from year to year that we've cleaned up, then it falls back on the wayside and we have to redo it again. So hopefully, whatever we fix stays fixed. Again, we don't see, and I'm saying the council, we don't see a lot of those things that go on. We get these reports, or we get some reports, we don't get some reports. So it's very hard to track that. But we're glad that we have an auditor that does look out for us. And unfortunately, sometimes we see it a year down the road, 2 years down the road, a couple months. But we're going to try and stay on top because our duty is to the taxpayer. Okay. And that's what I think we're all up here to do, is to safeguard the money and make sure it's spent properly the way that it could be best utilized for the town. So again, I'm glad we have the audit report. Hopefully we can correct most of these things, and we're going to do our best to do so. And I know there's statutes in place to eliminate some of these things. We just have to follow those statutes. And, You know, I've been on the council for 9 years. I don't know all the statutes, to be quite honest with you, because I don't have time to read that thick New Jersey statute book, and finance is not my expertise, but we are going to do our best to straighten those deficits out for you and the rest of the town.
Thank you.
And that's my comment.
Okay, Mr. Farrar, I did want to mention one thing about the bond ordinance for 95 Linwood, because I did discuss this with Mr. Bonfield and with the auditor as well, and that ordinance will be canceled as soon as the billings for the expenditures involved in the due diligence and investigation of the property are paid. Once those bills are paid, then that ordinance is going to be put up to be canceled. That's according to the auditor and confirmed by, that's, Mr. Byfield. We talked about this, and I did talk to the auditor personally. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
So we're backing out of the ordinance of what we've already expended on, is that correct?
What I'm saying is that ordinance can be canceled
Right.
once the
Get the
expenditures
are
have,
backed out.
or paid.
Okay.
Okay. Is the person back up?
Desiree, I can answer one thing that Mr. Farrar asked about the, I'm sorry, there you go. About the road improvement money for this year, we were able to fund that via older road improvement ordinance where we had not used what was fully funded because the bids either came in lower or things like that. So we went through, and that's what's funding this year's road program.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can we try them?
Hello, are you there?
Okay, we were trying.
Yes, we were.
All right. Is there anyone else that would like to come up? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you can come up, but let me, okay, come on up. Sure.
Not good a question.
It's
I'm
okay.
just going to say, yes, I did receive it, and
Okay.
I'm going to say thank you,
You're welcome.
because at least the answers I got from you were very respectful and very nice to a resident. The answers I got from the administration weren't. Thank you.
Ms. Osmond, Ms. Osmond, can I give you an answer for the administration on one thing that you just brought up tonight?
Yes.
Good, okay. So you cited a statute and said that we have 10 departments, and I assume you're saying that we're in violation, okay? However, if you read the statute, which is 40:69A 43A, it
Okay.
says that we're supposed to have a Department of Administration and such other departments not exceeding 9. So
Yeah, but isn't that all together?
No, the statute says what the statute says, and the statute says we have a Department of Administration, which we do.
Yes.
And then we do have 9 others, and they are Finance, Law, Public Affairs, Public Safety, Fire Department, Public Works, Health Department, Recycling, Engineering. And if you go into section 738 of our code, you'll find that the listing. So it's the Department of Administration is its own.
So then you're
plus-
saying we can have 10,
It's the Department of Administration
Plus
plus
9 others.
9.
plus, so that's 10 altogether.
Good math.
Okay.
Excellent math.
Well, okay.
But you indicated we have too many. We do not have.
Well,
too
I
many.
indicated that just because of the fact that you're saying that you can have it with administration, then you can have an additional.
Well, I'm
I
not-
was saying
I'm
that
not-
altogether you had it.
I'm not saying it. I'm reading what the statute says. The statute says you can have
Administration plus 9. And I'm
administration
saying-
plus, and you
Right.
said
9 altogether only.
Yeah.
And you're saying we can have 10 altogether.
you can have, right, administration
Okay, as
plus
long
9.
as you
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said that we
yeah,
can
yeah,
have 10.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, thank you. I still say the answers I got was snarky.
That was not snarky.
Oh, going to the statute?
No, this one that I just gave you? I
The
thought you,
answer to my question was go to a statute and figure it out.
I was just talking about the answer that I gave.
He just means what he just.
I just meant what I mean, what I just gave you.
Okay,
Desiree?
yes.
since you allowed Mrs. Osmond to come up and she made a comment, I'd like to know what you think was disrespectful at the next meeting, not now. And also,
I'll be glad next meeting, sorry.
okay. And also, I could have cut and paste what was in the statute, but the answer would have gotten long. And so that's why I referred you to the statute. And I'm going to say, obviously, you knew where to find it because you made reference to it. So I'd be interested, I answered your questions as asked, and I think I gave answers to them.
I'll let you know when I put this on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, come on up, please.
Michael Holman, 2 Clark Avenue. Just regarding the update on 168 and a light, I would just ask that, I know we have all of these professionals looking at it, but as a layman, waking up every morning to the cacophony at Washington and Van Emberg, and an occasional crash with the flashing light. I find personally that people don't know how to traverse a flashing light, and putting a flashing light next to a flashing light, I think, is just going to introduce many more problems. So if we're putting a signal there, my suggestion, as a layman, would be to have it signal all day, because a flashing light is just a recipe for disaster. I would assume one will be yellow, one will be red coming off the parkway, which is what we have at Van Emberg and Washington, and it is a disaster, to say the least. The second thing is, there's been a lot of discussion this evening about OLGC and Bethany. And my only question is, has the tax assessor offered an opinion on these uses? I'm assuming, I believe OLGC is exempt, and I'm thinking Bethany maybe as well. And if they have revenue producing, if they're using their facilities for revenue, that's not part of their sort of ministerial duties. It's pure profit, pure business. Should 100% of that revenue be exempt, and should 100% of that, 100% of their property be exempt from property taxes? I would think not. I mean, if they're running a business under the guise of God, I mean, I think that's bullshit, quite honestly. I mean, they should be, they have a business, they're renting out their facilities. It's not ministerial. They're not, promoting, God, for lack of a better term. These are businesses, and they should be taxed. And I think the taxpayers are owed that. And I would like to understand if our assessor has made a determination. I know in reading the contract for OLGC, if that determination was that they were taxable, that the town had to pay the tax, which, that's part of the negotiation, but I don't think it absolves the town from making that determination. So if you could tell me if the assessor made a determination for both Bethany, OLGC, and any other house of worship that either the town is engaged with or that we're aware of them running outside businesses. So thank you.
I don't have that answer right now, but we will get it to you. Unless,
Yeah, no, I don't either, but we have a new assessor, so I'll certainly ask her the question.
And Mr. Ullman, I see your point, and I don't know how that plays out with the IRS, to be quite honest with you. So I'm going to be contacting the IRS and finding out, can we do it? Because I'm a little bit, that brings some lights, flashes some lights for me. Thinking about having a business for profit on a tax-free zone. So I'll call it that for lack of a better term. So.
Just to address your comment, if the IRS is fine. I mean, if the feds want to come in and hit them, I don't know if they'll have an interest, but I think as a tax-paying resident,
I'm curious. I want to know.
I would like to understand if they're getting a free ride and they should be assessed based on the profit-making enterprise that they're running.
I'm curious about the for any place that is, whether it's religious, non-religious, has a tax exemption. Can they do that? So I'll give them a ring.
In regards to 501c3 exempt status in the country, actually. So as long as it's not illegal, they do actually file the money on their tax return. A 501c has to record all income, gross revenue, regardless if it's donation, generated from a contract, found on the street, they're supposed to report it. It's in the 501c provisions for the Internal Revenue Service under that specific code. The organization's purposes and activities may not be illegal or violate fundamental public policy. They must not participate in or intervene in any political campaigns or on behalf of any political interest party. That's why when the person was putting campaign or materials on cars in the parking lot, it was against the law. They must not devote a substantial part of their activities to attempting to influence any sort of legislation. That's what the money can't be used for or obtained for. They must not provide a substantial benefit to any private interests. And those are the rules under a 501c3. And it is on the Internal Revenue Code's, the IRS's website.
I'm not aware where it is.
Okay. We will get back to you on that answer. Mr. Mayor, you'll respond back to Mr. Ullman after you speak with the tax assessor?
I certainly will.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up?
It's the same person, and I don't understand if they try to.
Maybe they don't realize, they may not realize that their hand is raised, they may just be listening. But anyone here in person that would like to come up, please feel free. If not, yeah, you can ask the second question quickly. I'm sorry, it's okay.
I don't know the answer to it. On Pascat Road, there's an automobile place. Stacy, you know where I'm talking about, the vacant property that says grand opening and there's no cars, there's no nothing.
Well, there's
And then
cars
there's-
sometimes.
I haven't seen one.
I would look at it every day, so,
Okay, well, maybe you saw one.
yeah.
Okay. And there's a property next to it too. I didn't look up who owns that or anything. But my only question to you, is that any viable option there for any of our trucks that would need to be parked with fence or whatever they would be, that would be right next to us temporarily if any of that other situation with the church becomes a problem? Does anyone know the answer to that?
I don't.
I'm sure they'd want a fortune for rent too. More than we would pay. And it is small, but I'm sure they would want I'm sure they would want a fortune for rent more than we would pay to Our Lady of Good Counsel. I don't know if they are necessarily friends.
I'll say based on the old rates we paid Good Counsel, they would probably want more. And again, now you're talking about putting it in a more residential area where it didn't bother
understand.
anyone at Good Counsel. And I'm not here to advertise for anyone.
Okay, that was my question.
Thank you.
If
And
there
those
was an
are good-
opportunity.
Those
Thank
are
you.
good options, and that's exactly what we need to do, just, discuss options. All right, if there's no one else, okay. I said it, I set the tone, I have to. Sorry.
I just wanted to bring up about Clark Field.
Okay.
Over the years, on opening day, there was always two-sided street parking and a lot of problems. There was concerns, I know Tom Caesar expressed concern about the possibility if there was an emergency, fire engines couldn't get through. So they changed it, so a few years ago, so it's only one side of the street parking. Yesterday, there were 2 baseball games at the field. None of the teams were from Washington Township, so it must have been some sort of championship or travel league things. But there were parking initially on the field side of Clark Field, up and down Cleveland Avenue, below Willow, north of Willow, on Cross. And then there was an afternoon game, so then they were parking on both sides of the street. I had to go out twice. It was very difficult to get out. It was unsafe. This happens maybe 3 times a year. I happened to pass Sherry Field, which has a little league field and a great big empty parking lot, and nobody's there. So I'm going to make a suggestion that for safety's sake, I know Clark Field is the Yankee Stadium of baseball fields in northern Jersey, but for safety, when we have these types of crowds, that they play the games at Sherry Field, on that field. It was not wet, it was dry, it was a beautiful day, and there was plenty of parking. Either that or provide a bus service to bring people from that parking lot up to Clark Field to watch it, because it's just unsafe. It really was unsafe. And so
I'll share your concerns. That is a private baseball, right? Am I right in saying that? Baseball is its own.
Little League is an organization? you mean?
Right, right.
Yeah, they're not under the town umbrella.
Right. So, but we'll share that concern and that recommendation.
I know that Little League is not, but that park is town property.
Right.
Mr. Farrar, were they?
It's not Little League's property. They try to make you think it is, but it isn't. Yes, Tom.
Mr. Farrar, were they township leagues or they were outside leagues?
I don't know. I just know that they used the public address system. One team was from Randolph in the morning, and another team were from Florida, but all the plates were New Jersey, so I don't think anybody came up from Florida. Maybe it was Florida, New York. I don't know. In the afternoon, I don't know who they were. But they were very, all the plates were from New Jersey, someplace. So it's some sort of travel league, I'm sure they have it off. They probably have a neutral field championship game, and that
Are
was
we
it.
renting that field out to outsiders?
I don't keep track day to day, Tom, so I'd have to ask the rec coordinator, which I will do.
We will ask
Okay.
because the
I'm not
comment.
concerned, money is not.
Yeah. No, I
I'm
hear
more
you.
concerned about somebody getting hit crossing the street or an
Yeah,
accident.
I
Or
agree
the
with
fire
you.
engines can't get through or whatever. But that's all.
Just to make sure that there is oversight. You're right. It is our park. It's their league. It's their, yeah. So we will double check to make sure somebody is granting permission that that's used. And maybe we can talk to them and ask them to put the bigger games like that on Sherry Field, at least to recommend that. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, come on up. I thought we were closing.
Tony Plantamura, 808 Robinwood Road. I would just like to expand on what he is suggesting about fields. I just want to go back to Memorial Field. There were issues that I brought up years ago with the referendum and everything. And I know parents are frustrated because they don't have sometimes what we used to refer to Memorial Field as a crown jewel in the town. But I also want to comment as a resident and as the first class that entered Washington School back in the late 50s, that there are serious issues there as far as traffic flow. And we don't have the correct parking availability to make that field more of a crown jewel to draw more cars into town. I live over there in that area. I used to walk to school there. And when you have games that go on, particularly Friday nights, and there are residents that are allowed to park on both sides of the streets, I get really frustrated coming through Eastgate, Wayne, all those roads over there, and I can't get through because cars are allowed to double park on both sides of the roads, which I understand that should be allowed, but those roads are not wide enough to accommodate the flow of traffic that needs to go somewhere else in town. So you're stuck where you have to pull into somebody's driveway almost because there are cars parked all over. If you think that you can draw more traffic into Memorial Field on Pascack Road, somebody please explain to me where you're going to park the cars. The answer is to let them go to the high school and utilize the high school that we all paid for an artificial turf field there. And they have the facilities for parking off the street, on the street, they built that new parking lot on Ridgewood Road there. And I'd like to see more interaction between the Board of Ed and the municipality to share that, because I've never understood why taxpayers pay for things and then they can't get more out of it. I know that high school has to come first, the kids, but we're all part of a community and we all talk about being a community, but it's really about who's in charge and what they want. So as a taxpayer and as a resident that's really frustrated in this town, I really don't even understand how all this development is going on in this county, because I feel like I'm choked in this town, and it's not your fault. It is the fault of no oversight at the state or county level, where this overdevelopment is really saturating this area. And I'm sorry, I don't know what the other residents feel, but I just feel like some days I just get up and I look out at Washington Avenue that I used to play a game as a kid with other friends of mine, and sitting on that road when there was no cars there. And we used to play games. Whatever car came over the hill, that was the car you were going to drive when you were older. And these were cars from the 1950s and 60s. And now I can't even pull out of my street to make a left. I stopped doing that about 10 years ago because of the traffic concerns. And then I go to the bottom of Jackson and I try to make a left there. You can't make a left. I'm sorry. I don't believe that any traffic light coming off of that ramp also at 168 is going to resolve any issues. I told you years ago, I think our traffic intersection down here by Seasons should never have been touched until they open up another exit off the Parkway, because all you're doing is inviting more traffic into this town. And I do feel like we're the stepchild of northern Bergen County, Pascack Valley area. Everything is bunched here. Everything, and you can parlay that over into Washington School, Memorial School. You're just inviting more traffic. Sometimes you just can't have what you want because you can't throw money at everything. And I just feel as a resident that some days I wake up and I go, what town am I living in? There used to be all farmland around all over this Pascack Valley area. And now it is just another extension of New York City now to me. I went to Park Ridge last week and I cannot believe what I'm looking at. There's no new roads. How does a town, how does a municipality, how does a county, how does a state level government get to build all this stuff without any concerns to quality of life issues for residents is beyond me, because I can't do that on my property. You can't do that on your property. And sometimes the answer is less is more. And I just feel that all of us, there's just too much traffic here, and I don't want to see more traffic at Memorial Field. I don't want to see more traffic coming into Washington Township. I am just tired of it. I really am. I don't even know if I want to be here anymore. I'm sure a lot of people are going to clap on that because they don't like me anyway, but I really don't care. I really don't care. I just feel like less is more, and sometimes you shouldn't listen to parents and residents who want more. Less is more now. You can't go to another town that has accommodation, or go to the high school. Go to the high school. That's a whole nother issue, what they're teaching kids over there in the high school. Shame on them. That's another issue.
Thank you.
So just in response to the high school field usage, actually, the town is using the high school fields. The girls softball teams are practicing and playing on the high school fields, and I believe there's some other sports playing there now. So that's been going on for at least 2 years.
That's good. I was on the first softball team in the high school in 1970 to 71. And we were relegated to the back because we
Yeah.
were only the girls. So now it's good to see that at least they didn't play in that field.
And also when Memorial has an event or large, the Bethany is letting us park there. So in order to alleviate some of the traffic, they're being a good community partner, and we are parking in the Bethany parking lot, walking across the street to Memorial Field. So to alleviate some of the parking issues, that's been going on for a while now. Correct, Mr. Mayor? We've had that partnership for a while.
Correct.
Okay, so just to let you know, yeah.
I think you're covered.
If there's
everybody.
no one else that wants to come up, and we were trying to get the person online, but it's not working. So we're going to motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Adoption second reading, ordinance number 22-12. This is for public hearing only. An ordinance amending use regulation in the Class C district and modifying the procedure for certificates of continued occupancy on the change of occupancies in the Washington Township Center.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Resolution number 22-282, authorize opening and public hearing. Now, so moved. 22-12. The Stacy motion, Steve second. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Castro.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay. What's that? Okay. Is there any conversation around this? Any discussion?
I see her.
Come on up. You see what?
No, no.
Oh.
Michael Ullman, 2 Clark Avenue. Can you explain the genesis of this change? Who brought it to the council and why? And I guess the other question I have is the language.
We can answer the first question.
Okay.
This is a dialogue.
Let the rest of it.
All right, ask the rest of the
Go ahead.
question. Go ahead.
Ladies first.
Ask the questions, keep going. I mean, ask questions, yes.
It seems that in the language that the zoning officer now has the ability to make a absolute decision that sort of can't be challenged, if I'm reading that properly. And it seems like we're bypassing the planning board. And I guess I'm just trying to understand, I guess goes back to my first question, why are we putting so much power in that one person? Was something broken in the township that we're looking to fix, or are we looking to improve something? Or, we seem to be taking away power from the planning board, and just would appreciate some expansion on this. Thank you.
Okay, so I can do that. The genesis of this came from the lawsuit that was filed against the township arising from the vape shop, where the use was denied and the court overturned the board. And there was mediation and settlements, and it was being handled by the insurance counsel for the town. And there was discussion during discussions of two things. One, were there uses that were palatable for the shopping center to increase their ability to get tenants, number one. Okay, that's the first part. Okay.
That's a result of the litigation?
Yeah. I mean, it was a request. It was part of, and I'm sure you've been in lawsuits before and things come up. And like I said, it was being handled by the insurance counsel. I was asked to assist the insurance counsel, but the insurance counsel was handling the case. And during the mediation, there was a request for certain kinds of usages. Some were that were not palatable, and some were okay. I mean, there were a few, things like new things, UPS or Federal Express. There were some uses there that were put in. The other thing was there was a request to streamline but not dilute the ability of the town to have tenants go before the planning board. The history of that ordinance originally, which was here before you were around, Mr. Ullman, was because there were some uses that were not in keeping with the kind of uses that the town was looking for. And so there was an automatic requirement to go for almost like planning board site plan review. And there was a lot of resistance to that by the participant, which was the shopping center, basically, of a more streamlined way of handling tenants getting into the shopping center and getting a CCO. So this two-part system was devised as a way of handling it without diluting the ability of the town to still get site plan review. And that's why the zoning officer has pretty much absolute discretion to say, I'm not comfortable with that use, go to the planning board. And I'll give you an example of how this would work, or the way it was envisioned. So suppose you had an Italian restaurant at the shopping center in the store, okay? And then suppose they went out and suppose a Chinese restaurant wanted to go in. Restaurant, no difference, food, same seating capacity, whatever. A lot of towns have that where that's handled administratively. You go to the building department, and the building department gives you your CCO, and you don't have to go to any planning board. So what was devised was that we had an administrative review first, but if there was any question at all by the zoning official at all, he would have absolute right to send that to the planning board, and then they would have to go through the full same review as before. So it's not taking any power away. It's just a dichotomy of how to approach it, and to make it a little more streamlined. And that was the purpose of the ordinance. I hope I explained that okay.
So having explained that, can I ask one question? Today, do all new tenants, regardless of the prior use of the space, or yesterday, do all new tenants have to come to the planning board for approval?
Well, first of all, this ordinance is not in effect, so they are still under the old ordinance.
Okay.
That's correct.
So they all do. And if this is adopted, going forward, the zoning officer or the chief construction officer can approve that
Yes, if
without,
yes,
without
right.
his personal review, but without any further review by the planning.
Yeah, similar to when you get a CCO for anything else. Exactly right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to close public hearing for ordinance 22-12.
So moved.
I'll second. So roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay,
We got one more motion to defer now.
right here. Yep.
Mhm.
Motion to defer adoption of ordinance number 22-12 pending receipt of report from planning board.
So moved.
Second.
So roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Abstain.
Councilwoman
Oh,
Velez,
shoot, do I have to, I'm sorry, do I have to abstain?
Why?
Because I'm the representative on the planning board or not?
Does she have?
Do I have to abstain?
No.
Okay, sorry, just checking before we move forward, yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't sure what the rules are with that.
No worries. Ordinance number 22-13, an ordinance establishing parking restrictions on portions of Finnerty Place. Resolution number 22-283, authorizing second reading and opening of public hearing for ordinance 22-13.
So moved.
I'll second. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Is there any discussion? And Sue, can you see if anyone's online to discuss? Is there any discussion on this?
Council President,
Mhm.
where the signs are posted now, that will be the restricted parking for any vehicles from Pascack, 100 feet down to where the sign is posted for the trucks? I'm assuming that where the sign is now, there'll be no parking there.
I thought there was more than that. I thought it was in addition to that.
Well, I looked at it today from Pascack Road to where they have the no parking truck size would be the area. I would suggest that it's now be strictly enforced because it seems like the landscapers are using that spot. They're sticking the trailers out to Pascack Road. You can barely make a turn. It's always at noon, so maybe we could have the police go there at noon and start writing tickets.
The signs you're referencing, those are there already? Or
Right.
these will be new signs that extend?
I think there's no sign on the other side yet, I thought, when I went down, just on the one side.
On the right side,
Yeah, I don't
looking
think,
down Finity.
So are these gonna be new signs?
Right.
To
Yes,
I thought that's what they were, right?
yes.
the ones that are currently there?
I thought it was going to be new signs.
unless there's the first sign, the 100 feet on, when you make a right on there, and then the new, there's no sign on the other side, just so you know. So that's gonna be new, obviously, but,
Right.
hey, Mr. Mayor, would you mind checking with the traffic officer, see if they're gonna post a new sign on the, thank you.
I'd be happy to. And Tom, also, I don't know if I'm helping to answer your question or not, but it could be the sign is there now, but without the ordinance, the police cannot enforce now that it has the ordinance behind it.
Exactly where I was
So
going.
it's
Able to
not going to
enforce.
be more than what is currently restricted.
We just
I
need,
don't remember exactly where the sign is, so I really can't comment on that.
Okay.
But let me say, without the ordinance, the sign may have just been put there as a deterrent or something. And again, I'm guessing right now. But now that the ordinance will be there, they have the teeth to write a ticket.
right, well, it seems like they don't,
They're still parking there.
they're still parking there. And it has to be strictly enforced. It's a
Right.
hazard.
Mhm.
It's dangerous.
Can you put towaway zone?
Well,
Can you put,
unless
like,
you
as
get
an
there in a
ordinance?
patrol car to write a ticket,
Yeah,
they're
right.
gonna constantly park there. And if you go there every day at noon, they're parked in that spot.
But that's my point. If you have been going there all the time, it becomes like wallpaper. They don't see it anymore because they've done it all the time and but if you if we're changing the sign and it says towaway zone, no parking, I don't know. I would think that it would,
Well, obviously a sign's not doing nothing for them.
I agree, it needs
But a ticket
enforcement, yeah.
will
Right.
They
get
still
their
need to-
attention.
They still need to write a ticket to tow it, just so you know. It's
Sure.
not just.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Right.
if I've seen the same sign there for the last 5 years, I'm parking there anyway, nothing's ever happened, and I'm still parking there. I'm going to park there tomorrow. I don't notice anything changing, but all of a sudden I see towaway zone. I never saw that before. Oh, they must have changed something.
Well,
Plus there's enforcement.
it's a huge sign. You cannot not see that sign.
I'm not saying they're not seeing it,
No,
I'm saying they
I
don't.
know, but it's just total disrespect.
What I'm going to guess, and I will follow up with the police, is once the ordinance is done, they will give whoever's there one warning to say, hey, now there's an ordinance behind this. Don't park here again. If you do, the second time you're getting a ticket.
It's most likely the same.
I would think so. The
Yes.
same, yes, trucks.
It's all the
How are they
landscapers
going to know
trucks.
when it's the second time if it's different?
Why don't you just write a
Most
ticket
landscapers,
up
they do
front
the
the
same.
first time and
Right,
that will
I
get their
say no
attention?
warnings. Right?
Well, it's
Because
Signs
Well,
I'm on duty now. I'm the one writing that I see you, okay, you get the warning, and then Sue's the next cop.
How do you know we got a
You're gonna
warning?
get a warning, and then Steve is the next cop. You're getting the warning. Like, there's not,
Don't we have any boots?
Well, the warnings are recorded in a database.
Well, I have some boots.
They do make an entry that they gave a
Oh, they do,
warning.
and it'll pop up again.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, that's fine.
Is it painted? Is the curb painted as well?
I don't recall things.
I've heard those doesn't have to be
Okay.
made.
Someone said no.
Because that would,
Obviously, if the sign does it, the curb's not gonna do anything.
well, I mean, fresh paint, you notice.
Mhm.
Believe it
That's
or
not a bad idea, actually. I would
Fresh-
probably see that before the sign.
When I see new.
Put a
new
blue on
lines.
that car, they'll never park there again. Leave
Can
it
we
there
make a
overnight.
recommendation? We're gonna address this, but can we make a recommendation that they do paint the no parking area since it's permanently no parking, not just certain times?
I'll ask them.
All right.
I just don't know.
Thank you. All right, so any other conversation around that? And yes, warnings are recorded. It's just informed.
Yeah.
All right, so motion to close, public hearing for ordinance 22-13.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 22-13 at second reading by title.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, introduction, first reading, ordinance number 22-14, an ordinance amending the requirement that building numbers be affixed to all such structures in the Township of Washington. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 22-14 at first reading by title.
So move.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Resolution number 22-283, authorizing publication of ordinance number 22-14 and scheduled public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, the following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from consent agenda. Anyone want anything removed for discussion?
Just
I just want to thank them for publishing the list of streets. That was good for the road program. It is out there.
297, please.
297.
Any others? Okay. Resolution number 22-285, authorized payment of bills June 16, 2022 to July 7, 2022. Resolution number 22-286, governing body certification of the 2021 annual audit. Resolution number 22-287, authorized refund of engineering performance guarantee escrow monies 211 West Place, Block 2404, Lot 26, in the amount not to exceed $1,000. Resolution number 22-288, authorized refund of engineering escrow monies 567 Van Amberg Ave, Block 1304, Lot 13, in the amount not to exceed $97.50. Resolution number 22-289, authorized refund of 2022 summer camp recreation fees, Tom Powellcheck, in the amount not to exceed $415. Resolution number 22-290, authorized refund of 2022 summer camp recreation fee, Aaron Murphy, in the amount not to exceed $615. Resolution number 22-291, authorized refund of 2022 summer camp recreation fees, Julia Zacone, in the amount not to exceed $310. Resolution number 22-292, authorized refund of 2022 summer camp recreation fees, Stephanie Thierry, in the amount not to exceed $560. Resolution number 22-293, authorized refund of 2022 summer camp weekly swim pass fees, Gabrielle Comunali, in the amount not to exceed $230. Resolution number 22-294, authorized refund of 2022 summer camp weekly swim pass fees, Megan DiPiero, in the amount not to exceed $75. Resolution number 22-295, authorize refund of 2022 summer camp aftercare fee, April Quatrano Walsh, in the amount not to exceed $475. Resolution number 22-296, accepting bid and awarding contract for the Sherry Field ADA Improvements Project of the Township of Washington to DNL Paving Contractor, base bid in the amount of $53,422.50. Resolution number 22-298, accepting bid and awarding contract for the improvements to Lafayette Avenue and Hickory Street improvements to Lafayette Avenue and Adams Court, Township of Washington to DNL Paving Contractors base in the amount of $208,509.65. Okay. Motion to approve consent
So moved.
agenda, sorry.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay. Resolution number 297, accepting bid and awarding contract for the 2022 road improvement program of the Township of Washington to DNL Paving Contractors, base bid in the amount of $510,874.43. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, yeah, discussion.
The only question I had is that the two spots right? I didn't see any plans for it anywhere. I don't know if anyone else saw the plans for where they're putting those two spots. Did you happen to see those anywhere? Because I missed those. So I was unaware that we were not in compliance, number one. I figured we would be since it's just a base rock parking lot. But I'm assuming those are two right next to the food stand there? Or where are those located? Do you know, Mr. Mayor, where those two spots would be?
Which two spots are you referring to, Steve?
The two spots on the Sherry Field ADA improvement. We're going to construct two ADA paving.
That's not the one you
Oh, no,
pulled.
297.
That was passed already.
Yeah, 297 you pulled.
You pulled 297.
That's the bid awarding contract for the road improvement program.
Oh, I pulled the wrong, I'm sorry, I pulled the wrong one. My fault.
Oh.
I misread.
I did have one question on the road improvement program.
That's the one I wanted to pull, but I'm okay with it. I just had a question with
You can
where it was, that's all.
I mean, now
I'm sorry, pulled
that
the
I
wrong one.
understand where, please ask your
Yeah.
question. I'll answer it if I can.
Yeah, do you know where those two spots are? That's my question. I pulled the wrong one.
Offhand, I do not, Steve. I'm happy to get you the info, but
Okay.
offhand, I do not.
Other than that, it's passed, so I'm good with everything else, so I'm good with the other one.
Okay.
I just circled the wrong one. I apologize.
Happens to us
It's been a
all.
long, it's been a month.
Yeah, see? Long one.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
All right, and then, since we pulled 297,
Yeah, I have a question on it. So, how many bids did we get since we did go out earlier this year? Do you know?
It was in the, it's in the resolution.
Yeah.
What?
What did we get,
It's
Sue?
in the
Like
resolution. It's right
8 or
there.
9?
I missed it then.
Yeah, 8 or 9,
We
10,
did.
something
We
like
did good
that.
this year then.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
9.
9.
Sorry, I missed it. Didn't see it.
okay, so,
Motion to approve.
Yeah.
So you have a motion to approve, then just take a vote.
yeah, so.
So moved.
Okay,
No, it was moved already.
we're just gonna
Vote.
Vote time.
vote on it.
Okay, Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. We're gonna adjourn to conference agenda. Yeah, we'll break for 5 minutes. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-minute break. And legislation. Proposed amendments to ordinance 22-08 requiring registration of businesses which remove trees in the Township of Washington. Mr. Sears.
Yes, thank you. We just refined this, corrected some deficiencies. So we made it that the clerk's office will be the responsible person for issuing the tree permits. Our fees are really low, so we're lower than any other town around us. And I think that's a good start. So the clerk office will be reviewing the permits requests for the companies for doing the trees. So all this is just a quick modification to button up some of the loose ends on this. That's all. Thank you.
Tom, why do we put it in the clerk's office? Why is it better there than other places?
Well, they had it down in the building department, and since the clerk's office issues all of the environmental permits, this would fit right in with that. They do a licensing for cats and dogs. I talked to Sue, and she said she'll be able to handle these types of permits.
And we'll also work with the zoning officer who does the tree permits.
Yes.
To make sure that, you know.
That the zoning officer will also get a copy of all of the permits issued.
Okay.
And I would also suggest, not that it has anything to do with the revision, but that we add a page to the website of the licensed ones, and that way.
Yes,
people
and
can
that was one of
refer to that.
our goals of doing this. You know, so the residents would know that we have a list of licensed
So
tree
you'll take care of that.
Absolutely, great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Email from Westwood Regional School District, Dr. Mortimer, regarding the SLEO, Council Vice President Feeney.
Yeah, so I know this is a little bit old. I guess I had sent it late. It wasn't on the previous agenda. They've actually now decided to have SLEOs in every single school, and I'm very thankful that Dr. Mortimer and the Board of Education has undergone this change because our children are precious, and unfortunately, due to recent violence in this country, elementary schools are a target, and we need to keep our children safe. So, thank you, Dr. Mortimer and the Board of Education.
Yes.
Can I just go back to the ordinance with the trees?
Sure.
Number 8, where it says submit an annual registration of $50 up to a maximum of 5 vehicles.
Speak into.
I'm sorry. Going to number 8, where it's $50 for a maximum of 5 vehicles. What if someone has 6 or 7 vehicles? What do you do for 6, 7, 8? We gonna give them another annual fee? I just don't understand why there's a limit on vehicles.
Basically, the ordinances, we looked at Park Ridge, Hackensack, Riverdale, they all had 5 on their things. I mean, if somebody wants to register another vehicle.
I just don't understand why is there a number limitation? If I have a business that has 10 vehicles, right? I mean, and I have 3 vehicles coming into town. Again, I just don't understand why.
But we could probably register more. I mean, it's.
That's all I'm just asking.
Yeah, I could think
it doesn't.
That could be resolved.
Yeah, what maybe I would suggest off the top of my head is 50 gets you the first 5.
Yeah.
Maybe an additional 5 for each one after that or something.
That's fine.
The decal costs a little money, like that, so.
That's a great idea.
Is that we're buying decals for all these vehicles?
Yes,
Is that what it
decals
is?
have to be placed on their vehicle, so the police know that they are licensed to work in the township.
It'll be on their front left fender.
Yes.
And does each one have a unique number, or is it just a generic decal that?
No, there'll be a registered number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like what we do with the towing.
Okay. So you'll be putting this on for our first reading at the next meeting? Is that the intent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. That was just a question I had.
Just a quick question. Now, they are putting a police officer, 3 in every school now within the school system?
Yeah,
Yes.
Township handles the ones in the township's geographical area, Westwood's handling Westwood.
Okay. Smart move.
I have a question. I know we're bouncing back and forth, but I have a question on this tree application. A tree removal application must be submitted and approved by the zoning officer. How far in advance are they doing this? If I am a resident and I call, Tom Sears Tree Removal, you've never worked in this town before, but you gave me the best price and I want you. They
But
have
then
to-
he's got to come to the town and register.
How long does it take to get that application in and get registered?
Sue, how long does it
That could
take you?
be, we do everything else, like right there, outside of, unless we have to do background check and checks for that, produce the licenses, if everything's in order, we should be able to do it right then and there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to hold them up.
And again,
So it's
that's why I'd like to put it on the web, those that are licensed, because maybe people will look at that first if they need something quick and say, all right, I know these companies are already licensed.
True, but sometimes cost is an issue, and
Of
there
course.
are people who may know someone who has a tree thing out of Moonachie, let's just say, and they come and they're doing them a favor, and so we're putting it on the resident to tell these tree companies.
They know.
They know. Is this
Mo-
something that's a common
Trust me,
practice?
they'll know.
Most
Okay.
tree companies know that when there's applications.
Okay.
And they have to come to the permit, Desiree, and at the permit time, they'll be told, to
Okay.
refer to the website, or we can have a list that he gives out with the permit also.
Okay, I just want to make it very clear because
Yeah, we want it to be user-friendly.
Yeah.
But to your point, what if it was an emergency, tree through the?
And it's already in this ordinance that an emergency tree can be
Is it-
taken down,
Okay. Like blocking your driveway.
That's a permitted takedown without you can do it post
Yeah.
removal.
Well, Tom,
We don't hamper any citizen in town. We want to protect the citizens in the town.
then, Tom, we keep talking about this. Who determines the emergency? It can't be the guy who is unlicensed who would say,
Exactly.
I want to.
He's got to call the code official.
Okay.
So can we put that process on there too for tree emergencies and then say what
I would direct that to Ken. More legal question.
I'm talking about on the website. So like.
Oh, on the
yeah,
website,
the
I'm
website
sorry.
we can.
Explain
Sure.
what
Sorry,
to do. for
I thought you meant in the ordinance.
Yeah,
Right, that it has, a code official must be called.
right. Right, we
I
can wrap
think
that
it
up.
does say, please contact the town offices for emergency.
Exactly.
There is a comment on the form about
Yeah.
emergency removal.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, perfect. Okay then. Sign ordinance, businesses continued. Who was doing that? The sign ordinance?
I was working on it, but I haven't submitted anything yet, probably for the next meeting.
Okay. So will you put this on the next meeting? Number 3?
Yeah, if you would, because the shopping center owners, every time I walk into most of the stores, it's, when are you going to do something
Yeah.
for us? We really need the window space for advertising. So if you can do it sooner than later, I think all the shopping center owners would appreciate that.
Seem to be using it.
Well, there's
Not no
nothing,
space.
Yeah, it looks pretty active the way I see it.
Well, let me say, I have told some of them that, because the way the ordinance is currently written is it can't be affixed to the window.
Oh.
And so like the stationery store, his lottery thing was always hanging by a chain.
Oh.
I said, that's permitted right now, but they still ask, because they want to have direction where they're going with this.
I have it, I'll just send it out to everybody.
Okay, and then establishing an art program with recreation, Sue and Mr. Pollard.
No, this was something that Mrs. Scuderi approached me with like dates of how it would fall into place with introduction, and then I put them over to Mr. Pollard to work together to create an amendment to include the art program for recreation. Evidently, he's got some interest. He's got a gentleman who's all set and ready and very eager to jump in. The timing would work out very well. He would start in October, which would be good because we after summer when everybody's, kind of back from school and back from vacation, they can sign up in, in September. It all, from what I'm understanding from Mrs. Scuderi, it's all a plus. It's all a plus. It's just another avenue for kids with art.
Sounds good.
Is that been budgeted
for that, or second would be
Self-funded.
Should be
All
self-funded.
all the rec, all
Self-funded?
rec is self-funded
Okay.
now.
Everything we do is correct, yeah.
So if everybody is on board and would like to see this continue, I have everything set up for a resolution to introduce it and do a public hearing and all that stuff this evening. And it would just be the essence of time it would fall into place for the fall.
You just have to add it to the
Well,
list.
Does Dan have a location, so we don't have to rent a location?
What did he tell me?
Thought it was gonna be Bethany.
So we would have to spend money to rent to Bethany for this art program?
You know what, Tom, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't
who said
recall, but again, Tom, if it would be included in the participant fee, that rental,
Right.
so it's not like the taxpayer
No, I
will be
just-
paying it. Yeah,
Over tonight's difference between, I just want to,
yeah.
I'll verify and I'll send you an email in the morning.
thank you.
She's talking about introducing it now.
Are you looking to introduce it now?
No, introduce it.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, he'd like it introduced because he wants to start in September, so introduce, then at your one meeting in August, you would hopefully approve it, so he can put it on community pass.
It's under conference for.
That was my understanding.
Okay, so,
And it would fall into place.
well,
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. It says after men's softball program?
In the
just
list
the
of
it's a
rec
listing, it's a listing.
Oh, after the
Yeah, it's the listing, yeah,
Not
yeah.
actually after, but.
Well, there you go.
Like, see all the men going for a nice little art program.
Softball game, and everybody draws about the pictures.
I'm so not. I'm just thinking that was funny the way it comes out.
It's just, it
I'm
makes
like, what does
reference,
this
it makes
have to
reference,
do with men's softball? No, I would know.
So Margot
it
can
makes
come watch the
reference to
game.
the section, that's all.
No, that's not how I said, but what does it have to do with men's softball? Please,
Adding the following after.
Okay, hopefully somebody at home is wondering the same thing.
Okay. Okay, I think what you-
It reads that way. I know it does, but yeah. And the curly hair.
okay.
So I think if you, well, let's find out if they want to do this.
It doesn't read.
Does everyone do this
Yeah,
today?
make a motion to suspend the rules.
Yeah, okay.
Can someone second that, please?
I think I might just be corrected. It might be at the library, the art program.
Told you.
Well, just gotta speed it up.
All right, so I will second that.
What are we?
We
It's
are
a motion to
suspending.
suspend the rules to add this to the agenda as
Oh,
an
I
introduction.
see. Okay.
We're gonna-
I was being.
I think I just heard from somebody, I think the program might be at the library, not at Bethany.
Okay, so there was a second on this. All in favor?
All right, roll call.
Oh, no, roll call.
Take a roll call.
Okay. Councilman Cassia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Oh, yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll just do this. First reading.
Yeah, first reading ordinance number 22-15, an ordinance establishing an art program within the Recreation Department programs. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 22-15 at first reading by title.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so roll call?
Councilman Cassia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Resolution number 22-299, authorizing publication of ordinance number 22-15 and scheduled public hearing. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Cassia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Is there any discussion on the art program? Motion to,
No, that's all you do.
oh, that's
Come on, this guy. No, you did
public
this.
hearing.
No, board vote. Scheduling covers that, yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, it is. It's in
So
the new
what
app.
do I now?
That's it. No, 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 no.
It's the same.
All right, so we're gonna go to USPS update. Oh, the post office, is that you? Steve?
Yeah, that's me. I've been in contact with a couple of people. You know, we get a lot of complaints about our postal station down here. So, talked to a few people. I have my backup information. If anyone ever has any problems with your post office, you can go to this thing called the Postal Customer Council Administration, and they will take care of your complaints. So we talked to both the postmaster, He does the Hillsdale, Montvale, and Washington Township Station. Just give him a call. If you have an issue not getting mail, something you mailed 6 years ago, you just got it, let them know so they can take care of it. They don't do a formal report, but if things keep happening, they'll have to investigate some more. So that's all this information for the public, some contact information.
Great.
They are trying to clear up any issues that we have. So if you have something, just call them. They're going to do their best to get it resolved. And I think that's as far as we're going to get with that.
Okay. Grant activity report, GLD Associates. Sue?
Just basically there, it's your turn and time to get your 6-month report of what he's been doing. And he outlined everything that he's been doing, what's pending, what's been approved, what we weren't, available to get.
And where is it?
Information.
Where's?
It's in your,
I was wondering.
Oh, in here.
I was
Okay,
wondering
yeah.
if you could ask them if some of these don't have a timeline on when we're supposed to hear. I know it's not always the case. Could you ask him to add this into the report and send it to us?
great idea.
Okay, and then I did have a question on the assistance to firefighters grant for the 172,000.
Which number is that?
5. I'd like to know if we get the money, how long we have to use it if it's not, if the purchase isn't approved. Yeah, what?
You said if you get the grant, how long do we have to use it?
Yeah, because, right, will we need to do something, because if the purchase isn't approved, we lose the money in a certain amount of time.
Gotcha.
And then the other one for the public assistance program for FEMA, for Hurricane Ida.
6?
Yeah, number 6. No, it's okay. You know what? I changed my mind.
Okay. Sue, question for number 15, the Bergen County Arts Grant. Is there a way that I could work with him or get a little more information about that one? Because it speaks about street fairs, for example.
Like almost like.
I actually looked into that.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you,
No,
in
she
what
was-
respect? Like you looked into
grants to try to
do
do
street
kind of,
fair?
and I thought sort of how Ridgewood does their open
Yeah.
street fair.
I'm just wondering if there's a way to, from a public affairs standpoint, because it says it's going to be announced in September. Just wondering, for planning purposes, what that looks like on our end.
Talk to the grant writer and see if he's got any information.
Directly talk to him, or
Yeah, why not?
do I go through the mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put together an email.
And then if he has a contact, you have something from here.
If you look some of this up, it's to bring local artists, Jersey artists, even town
Yeah,
artists. Yeah.
one of our residents had brought something up
And it's
about
also-
an art
it's-
exhibit.
It's also good for our dashboard to have an art event.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
I'm wondering if you did something with art, like for the winter festival too.
Yeah.
Like, what do we call that? Winter something?
Winterfest.
Winter fest, what do we call it?
No, tree lighting.
Tree lighting, thank you,
Yeah,
yes,
tree
sorry.
lighting.
Oh, wow. So we didn't get that. That's upsetting.
What?
Number 7. The grant writer had reached out to me and he said he was applying for recreational opportunities for individuals with disabilities. So children who were not necessarily given the same opportunities as mainstream, gen ed kids. It was a $15,000 request for a summer camp program for up to 50 special needs children currently living in Township, and it was not funded. That's so upsetting.
Well, the state probably pulled it.
Yeah.
Well, is there a way for us to know why it was not funded and then we can adjust accordingly for the following year?
I'll certainly ask him as part of what everyone's asking. I don't believe that they either deny or accept. I don't think they give reasons usually as to why
Never
they
do.
don't.
If we don't meet it for a particular reason, then we can adjust and.
That's so upsetting.
Well, that's what happened to the library, some of the library money too, is that they didn't fund the program.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the application or us, they just didn't fund the
Right.
program.
Yeah.
maybe we should host a Special Olympics in town, something like along those lines.
Does our police department do something?
I have no
Body
idea.
participate in anything like
I
that?
I really don't know.
I don't believe so. I've never heard anything about it.
It's like a torch run, I believe it's called. Is that what it is? Special Olympics torch run?
I'll run it if you want to do it.
I'll beat you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Mayor.
Nice to see you in person, Mr. Ferrara.
Not at all.
All right, so he sends this to us every 6 months.
I try to get it quarterly, it does not come to me quarterly.
Can we request that it does come quarterly moving forward? Because I
Yeah.
like
Very
them.
helpful. It's
It is
very
helpful. It is helpful to see it.
And there's accountability. At least we know what is being worked on.
Yeah. Even, obviously, he puts in here still in progress, so it doesn't have to be a decision on it yet. We can just know what's being looked at.
So like Councilman Feeney said, possibly get that timeline in there saying if it's being worked on, when is it gonna be? Is it gonna be August, September, October, November?
Right.
So I'll ask him about that too.
Thank you.
Rosemary doesn't mind.
Okay. Resolution number 22-300, litigation, property acquisition, 450 Tascat Road. Motion to enter into closed session.
What, before you do that, you remember I asked for an update on the vandalism report?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have we received anything on this?
Sue, I thought you were going to let the council know. It's something I want to discuss with the police department, but the chief was on vacation the last week and a half, so I'll have an answer for you by the next meeting.
Okay.
I think they should have a little say in it since they deal with this all the time.
Well, I hope they got an update that it's positive. Okay. Done.
Sure. Okay.
Motion to go closed?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or is that just public service? Do we have to say if we are?
You don't have to say it.
All right.
Recording stopped.